On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're going to learn you about magic. But before that, we're also going to talk about the Zero Excel rerun, the fact that Waltz in the Moonlight Lostroom, had to think about that one for a second, is coming back, has come back, whatever, and lots of other stuff in between, like Mailbag, talk about new streamer servants, all the rage. Hi, I'm one of your hosts. I am Evocation Omega. With me as always, Alchemist Lucky. I almost said Alchemist the Lucky. That was weird.
The Lucky. No, that makes sense. Everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Mages 101. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should go make themselves some pancakes.
Pancake.
Pancakey.
Very important. Everybody loves pancakes. Hold on, are people talking in general?
Are they talking about ants or fridges?
No, I'm talking about other stuff. I'm gonna mute it. There's nobody anywhere else. We're all in recording, hanging out. Hi. Speaking of recording, I'd like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Haga Comics, Architect 10, Blacklist OG, Carlos Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Sodasun, 0424, 723, Video Gamer 75, and Zach Reed. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, as always, everybody.
Thank you. Ah.
You got any ants in your energy drink?
Not yet, but give it like 20 minutes.
That's right, I'm bringing a pre-show story into the main show. All right, hey, hi, how you doing? I can close that tab. I can itch my face. So yeah, welcome to Let's Talk FGO. It's gonna be a big boy show for you this week.
Yeah, it is.
Though I don't know, I think we'll actually probably get to Mailbag pretty early, because there's not a lot on the front half. It's got a big badonkadonk back half, though.
Thick like Murasaki thighs.
Alright, well, now that we're like 2 minutes in, and I can say this, let's really quickly check in with everybody's favorite Kohai Mesh.
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right, everybody, it's time for Wake the Fucker segment. I reckon for pro tips. I put a question mark here because theoretically we should have the upcoming event filter, but I don't see it yet. Like, I'm pretty sure in the news article it says it should be active the 27th. It is now the 28th as of the time we're recording, but...
I don't know, time and space.
Anyway, keep an eye out for it. When it does actually activate, hopefully before the event actually happens on, like, Monday, you can check what your servants are and what CEs you have that count so you can actually set it up. And please, for the love of God, make sure to do your support setup correctly, you animals. Set a support to event and make sure that is the one with the bonus servants on it. Please. I have seen so many weird and wrong support setups, and this isn't even... It's really easy. I know sometimes the game is dumb about what counts as an event quest. Like, I'm pretty sure the rank up quests counted as event quests. So, that was probably weird. But still, it's an event. They're definitely event quests. Make sure you have an event set up tagged and bagged properly, please.
Please.
And I know you're going to be tempted to throw your Scotties on there, but please throw your old and busted waiver on there instead. Because bonuses. There's a lot of event currency in this upcoming event, in case you forgot. But before we talk about that, let's just go ahead and speed right into Records on my phone, a regular achievement topic. Hey, shocking nobody, it's a half AP extra suck week. So we've got a few of these to talk about. I have protected the smile of JK Fox, Suzuka, Summer BB, and Summer Jean.
Yay. I'm dumb.
There's a great out-of-context line, audience. That needs to go in the supercut. When people start making supercuts of our content, put that in there.
No, Loth caught it, because I'm streaming, my FGO to the Discord right now, which is something you can do. But, I thought I had my Rider Mordred on my, Art Loops strat. No, I have Hokusai, I brought him against doors. I'm just like, no, I fucked up.
That's why my door setup is specifically my door setup. It's called QP Hell, by the way, kids.
Oh, no, mine, I have one too. That's usually where I have my Alexander Blackbeard and Medusa, hanging out. But I was like, oh wait, no, like, would it be faster if I just did a fucking, like, a Mordred loop? So I went over here. Yeah. So I wanted to test that out real quick, and then I'm like, wait, no, that's not a server.
Rip.
So, yeah, I fucked up. But that was why Lucky has this bad habit. If he thinks he did something dumb, he's just gonna say, man, I just did, he will just say it out loud.
I just did it dumb.
And it's like, yeah, like, I am dumb, or I hate myself right now. So, anyway, for Records for the Throne, Lucky side, all I did was I protected Saber Maeve's smile. Now,
Actually, I didn't include this, but should we discuss how much Saint Quartz we got from rank ups?
Sure. Mine's not going to be that high. I'm going to say that right now. I think I got
Well, I'm at 75 total, I believe. I only need to do 5 more to get the final amount of Saint Quartz you can get.
Let's how much am I at total right now? Hang on, I can check.
Yeah, you can check pretty easy. Which I think I can do that with the rank ups I have left. I don't know if I'm going to get to them before the AP runs out though, because that involves leveling servants I don't necessarily give a fuck about, or that won't be helpful in the upcoming rerun. Interesting how that works.
Let me see here. Master profile. Yeah, I have 74 Saint Quartz, and if I remember correctly, I fucking dropped my quartz to fucking 0, seeing if I can get an extra summer BB or more somebody. I can't think. Probably MHXX. Anyway, so no, I think I got a fair amount. But like as again usual with rank ups, Lucky can't stand rank ups. He really can't.
I gotta be honest. The quarter AP only helps a little bit. They're still monotonous. I think I said that the first day I was knocking all of mine out. I said I'm starting to lose my mind. Because hey, Martha has 3 rank ups, and I hadn't done any of them yet because I don't really need Writer Martha to do stuff. And oh man, that was a trip. Oh, I've done 5 pips. Yay, I'm done. Martha rank up 2 unlocked. Shit. Okay, I've done 5 more pips. I'm done. Martha rank up 3 unlocked. Shit.
Yeah, no, I as since this campaign has started, Lucky has only done Ushiwakamaru's rank up. That's it. And I'm just like, I need to sit down and do this. It's like I need to sit down and do this, and then I'm like, no.
I would say look at who you got and just actually, heck, you could probably do it right now while you're streaming and also doing the show, maybe.
Well, that's the plan. You're gonna be talking a lot.
It's true. I am gonna be talking a lot. 3.5 pages, people. But yeah, I would say if you, and this is just a good sub-pro tip, a pro tip outside the pro tip section, if you can't do a lot of rank ups at once because they melt your brain, trust me, I understand, focus on people you actually give a shit about, because usually rank ups are pretty good. Like, you see that rank up and you're like, oh, I really want to use Scheherazade, which I do, by the way, but I'm waiting for it to be 8 o'clock so I can, it should roll over to casters next, right? I remember my daily rotation right.
Are we still Saber?
Yes, tomorrow is. Yeah, we are still Saber Rider, and in about an hour it'll be Archer Caster, which is what I need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go apeshit on that one. Speaking of going apeshit about stuff, though, let's talk about. Did you do your master missions? So you need to perform 30 FP summons. That's right, hunt that Angra. You need to defeat 30 enemies, not servants or bosses. You need to defeat 15 Saber or Archer enemies, not servants or bosses. Defeat 15 Lancer or Rider enemies, not servants or bosses. Defeat 15 Caster, Assassin, or Berserker enemies, not servants or bosses. And defeat 8 servants. So do your dailies. Do your dailies and spend FP. Hunt that Angra. Alright.
Yes, Saber Rider, so I can level up Maeve and Maeve.
Done it already. Yeah, I used my Sabers to, like I said, finish up my Suzuka. Mm-hmm. She's got an interlude later that I want to do. But that'll probably have to wait.
Lucky is currently working on Okita Alter. I have this backlist of servants that are like half leveled, and it's killing me inside.
Yeah, I got a few. I realized my anger is only partially leveled because leveling extras sucks so hard.
It does.
Luckily, I will have spare EXPs. Like, I'm going to get Archer EXPs from the daily that I don't need anymore because my Summer Jean is fully ascended. Anyway, the constant struggles of man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's explain what we're talking about with this rerun stuff, though, because they have announced Fate Excel Zero Order Lap 2. I don't know why it's a lap, but it is. It will be happening from 8:31 to 9:13, so really like the first. That's still like a week or two early from JP. So it's coming up on us pretty fast. They're cutting out a lot of the gap weeks. But it's coming up. It's pretty standard rerun stuff, just they haven't added a lot of new bonus servants, which is kind of sad, because the bonus servant list in Zero kind of sucked. There are literally some classes that only have, like, one guy in them.
Looking at you, Lancelot.
Yeah, Lancelot and Lancer Thurmod. Only options. Luckily, Lancelot's pretty good, but still, shit, dude. The only bonus servant they've added, as far as I can tell, is Saber Deermid. Was that Saber Deermid? Yes. We will finally get Saber Deermid. He will be on the banner. He will be permanent after. I'm going to spend my downloads tickets on him. on an attempt. The only other thing they did is that when you use event CEs to get bonus drops, which is the thing you do, alter egos get seal drops for cavalry, and moon cancers and foreigners give seal drops for knights plus berserkers. So they expanded it to include all the new extra classes. So you have some different options.
Yay.
The banner is mostly for Iskandar and Diarmid, with Artoria and Waver on rotation. Also, I think Lancelot's in there, and is Giles? It's not actually Giles, but I always want to call him Giles.
I always want to call him Gillies.
That's probably the closest to how they pronounce it. Gilles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's French. It's weird. The S is definitely silent, but you could call him Gilles.
No, Gillies. Gilles.
Not that one, the other one. He's not actually Bluebeard either. That's an urban legend. But luckily, it being called Lap 2 makes it really easy to search out without typing all the shit. You can just search Lap 2 on wikis. Let me double check that. Yes, okay. The full banner, because it's a rerun. It's got all the stees. You are looking at Iskandar up most of the time, occasionally sharing with Waver, and Artoria, but sometimes you'll get Waver and Artoria solo. Saber Diarmid will be on raid up all the time, but occasionally he will be joined by Assassin Emiya and Berserker Lancelot. And all the time, Lancer Diarmid, Guildcaster, who's normally story-locked, and 100 personas will be up there. Great, this is going to be... The game's going to take this as my opportunity to give me Caster and not Saber Diarmid. Like animals. Anyway, there is a Saber Diarmid trial quest for a ticket, and there will be a new challenge quest. And that's really it. Normal rerun shit.
The normalist.
It should be fun though. It'll be good to go back. I had a lot of fun. And if you missed out on your Irie, you can get her now.
Yeah, people are excited about that. Which is a shame because as much as beloved as Irie is, you don't see her in support setups a lot.
No, it's because we've done a whole lot of talking about this. She is a healing caster, but she's not the most efficient at it. She's just slightly more common. So it's a useful niche, but it's one of those things where it's like it's not really what you want out of a welfare. That said, she's got a lot of potential because
I'm putting her in my alt slot.
That's a fair one. Maybe I should put mine in my alt slot. I have, I think, Mash in there now because I'm like, because obviously I put in my caster slot my Waver.
Yeah, same.
With his Bond CE, so I can brag. Also because I've compressed all my CEs down. I talked about earlier my support setup's going to be bad for skills. But not for CEs, because I got all that shit max limit break, guys, because all these are permanent. You want your super key raise, you want your volume ends. I think my volume end's the only one that's not MLB. I've only got like 1 or 2 of those, but still. No, I'm there, homie.
Actually, interesting enough, my volume end and Before Awakening are not max MLB, surprisingly enough.
I think I don't know if I spent SQ. Ooh, there's a lot of thunder. Don't worry, the recording will be fine. I don't know if I spent SQ or a lot of tickets. I tried decently hard the first time around because I wanted 100 personas, and it was her first read up. But they're all permanent, so you will occasionally get them. I got a decent spread. No, it should just be the class seals is the only currency, so you only have 7 to worry about.
7.
Yeah, it's a little gross, but whatever. We'll get over it. Still, it's a mission-based event, and it's a pretty fun story. If you haven't read it, I would enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah, there are very good opportunities to do QP farming and certain mat farming. I think if you are needing homunculus babies, there is a stupid easy way to get them.
Yeah, I believe there's a very good node in this event for that.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to JP really quick, though, and talk about some big news. Well, big in a broad-running sense, not for FGO, necessarily. But, FGO is doing FGOW Campaign 2, because Waltz and the Moonlight Lostroom is back for everybody. Anybody can download it. The limited run was just as a promo thing.
Actually, from a marketing standpoint, that's kind of fucking wild.
It's brilliant. It was brilliant, because they did it limited, they did it as a limited run, and then they realized there was an interest, and then they brought it back.
But also by giving it that sense of scarcity, the rerun, everyone's like, gotta have it.
Yeah, so they're rerunning the special CE in FGO, if you didn't get it already, and they're doing a limited run campaign on double FP for MASH. But also they put her first swimsuit back in the RP shop, so if you don't have the original, you can buy it for 5 RP. And also, this is just a general note, that they've announced that they are we're continuing the saga of the stage plays. Solomon's going to be a stage play.
So, actually, yeah, that means we have Camelot, Babylonia, and Solomon. So, pretty much the back half of part 1.
AKA all the parts everybody likes because they were written by Nasu. Nobody doesn't like those parts. I don't actually know that for sure, but they rated very highly.
Yeah, again, still no English release. Just subtitle them. Just fucking subtitle them. That's all you
Yeah,
have to do.
put them on Blu-rays and subtitle them in English. You can do it. It's not hard.
It's not hard. I'd buy that. I know many people who buy that.
Oh, many people would buy them.
How dare?
Especially considering they're going to be Blu-rays, because that's the world we live in, and you're going to, charge me a nose and a tooth for them.
I'd fucking do it. Like, with, like, Lucky's tangenting now, but with, like, Heaven's Field, they've actually released one more trailer, and it shows, like, a little bit more action, and I'm just like, I'm fucking tingly seeing that shit. I'm like, where's that Blu-ray release? I'm just gonna throw money at it. Oh shit, speaking of which, now that I think about it, my fucking Right Stuff order should be happening soon. Because, Lucky pre-ordered the poster, and they said that wasn't going to be available until, like, August 31st. It's August 28th right now, so it should be, like, they better fucking launch the shit into orbit so it has the quickest trajectory to my fucking house.
God, I hope so. Shipping's weird. Amazon is killing me with, like, we can tangent here because we're about to go into a mailbag, but,
yeah.
This is a good time to mention since we're talking about shipping stuff. I put out a video I've been anticipating, and I talked about it last week, actually. I was like, hey, I'm literally right now on the show spending money on Amazon to order some wafer toys from Japan. Amazon says they'll be here sometime in September. Hey, guess what? It's still August, and they got to me. They fucking teleported. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck happened to my Ami order, which was also from Japan. I paid for that by credit card, like, literally months ago. Obviously, I understand that, that was earlier in the pandemic phase when shit was weirder, but no, it's pretty cray. But whatever shop was selling them from Japan on regular, normal-ass American Amazon, even though they upcharged me a decent amount, but when you can get your stuff from across an ocean in a week, sometimes it's worth it. But go check out that video. I unboxed a whole shitload of them. I would like to announce formally, since that was a question, I did not eat all of them during the video. That would have taken forever. There were a lot of wafers. All the wafers are now eaten. It's been like 2 or 3 days. They're gone now.
I'm about to lose my shit. Omega.
What's up?
I literally just checked this. The thing that they're holding on, the fucking poster, still on pre-order, not yet shipped, release date, September 30th, 2020. They pushed it back a fucking month.
Great. Enjoy. That's great. Don't you love it when that happens? But yeah, shipping's real weird and fucked up. Amazon's overestimating me, like, I don't know if it's because of something that's not fit for talking about on Let's Talk FGO, but there is some shenanigans with the post office right now, and for some reason Amazon is still mostly shipping things to me via USPS. So I'm pro post office. But the estimates are like crazy long, and so the stuff usually shows up in extra days. I think the only thing I got delayed was earlier in the year. Like my P5 order was slightly delayed. My Final Fantasy VII Remake order was decently delayed by like a week after release date. But everything else is just like, oh no, this won't show up until like late September, and then I get a shipping notice, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this will get this. You actually like enter the tracking number. It's like, oh yeah, no, this will get to you like next week, dude. I'm like, okay,
there you
cool.
go.
I appreciate that.
As I said, Amazon operated by fairies, apparently.
Yeah. God forbid. I've ordered some trading card singles, which are shipped just by the seller in like fucking envelopes. Those just show up like magic. Like Amazon has, because the sellers are third party sellers. They don't tell anybody like the tracking information or anything. Yeah. So Amazon just spitballs it for me, and then they just show up someday, usually early. Like I got a single of a card that they said would arrive like between the 1st and the 4th of September. I got that like 2 days ago. Just like showed up and just like, nobody knows how anything works, do they? Anyway, keep this in mind with shipping. And which means theoretically sometime it was billed to the credit card. I will make another one of those wafer videos. And I might do more, I don't know. But it was fun. We got some cards, I got to eat some wafers. People ask me what they taste like. They're just, vanilla cream wafers. I think the brand name for the Keebler version is Sugar Wafers, but they're just normal-ass wafers. They're actually quite nice. I'm jonesing for some vanilla wafers right now.
Yeah, I didn't watch the full video, but I did watch it, and I did see that you get an MHX altar. I was like, of course you did.
Yes, correct. I even talked about it, how you don't have one, and I didn't have one either. I made sure to mention all the units I didn't have, quote-unquote, in real life, because I pulled some others in there. But if you want to know the full length I pulled, the breadth, Watch
Yeah.
the video. Animals.
I
Just
think
go ahead
you
and
were
watch
trying
it.
to. I think were you trying to combine length and breadth?
Possibly, yes.
Mhm.
Sometimes your brain tries to shorten things and it doesn't work.
Yes.
But yeah, go check it out. You can see it all. We can see all the stuff we get. You want to see what they're like if you're interested in buying them yourself. And you can store them, and they're about credit card size, so they're not like full. I think that's smaller than like regular full playing card size.
Mhm.
But they're all foil. If you're familiar with trading card terms, they're pretty sturdy. I believe they actually say that they've actually got like they're not like a card stock. They're actually like plastic or metal.
That's actually real nice. Thinking about it.
Oh yeah, no, they're pretty. The cards themselves are pretty high quality. They have like the servant stats and stuff on the back, but they're all in Japanese because they're imported. I'm sure Aniplex doesn't have the time or inclination to reproduce these in English, but if you could, that would be cool.
Like I said, on my things on the list of things that I want them to bring over, wafer cards is not at the top, so I'm willing to forgive them.
No, but yeah, they got stuff in there. But yeah, that was our tangent about shipping. Do we have any other news and or rando stuff to talk about? All right, my power just flickered. I think my internet's going to stay on, though. Yep, nope, we're good.
Zeus be mad, y'all. Let's see. News one I know. We have the... Let's see. We talk about the stage play. We talk about Waltz and the Moonlight Lostroom. Both excited. Both
summer camp's going to go on for another, week.
But I think it's winding down, though. I think people are finally getting to the last bits of story. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe you can do all the story nodes now. Now it's just farming.
Yeah. I said Twitter has been awash with art. Lucky basically constantly retweets any Murasaki, Abby, and Kiara art he finds.
Whereas Omega is that guy who they've slowed down since, but I'm going apeshit retweeting Consort U and Tomoe.
Actually, I would say Tomoe has got an uptick.
Tomoe's starting to get an uptick. Consort U I think is trending down because you've had her since the beginning, basically. But it's like, yeah, Tomoe is starting to actually pop a little bit since they showed her full ascensions.
Poor Ilya, though, is getting no love.
No, it's because she's a small. Though at least I do say that I'm glad that people are putting her in art with Summer Emiya. That's what I wanted out of this. That was my number one thing when they previewed those costumes and those servants. I was like, Ilya and Emiya must hang out. I'm like fucking Emperor Palpatine behind the writers. Do it.
Yeah, no. Again, there's also I was gonna say there was a downtick in Bryn/Sigurd.
Yes, there was a big explosion of couples art that quickly trended down, I think, after. Because people got new shit to write about.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some spoiler shit and stuff we're not talking about. If you want to know the event story, wait 2 years.
Yeah, no. Lucky has definitely seen some things, but since he can't read Japanese, he has no idea what's going on.
Or wait for them to release new units that's going to be an awkward conversation, as always. This character appeared first in this thing, but we don't want to talk about that.
How dare. I can't think of any other recent announcements.
All right, well, we're only 25 minutes in. Let's do Mailbag. Take it away, Lucky.
Hey, thank you, Omega. So here we are with this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag. Unfortunately, because we do have a packed show today, we are limiting ourselves to 1 hour today. Lucky will apologize in advance if we do not get to your question. I actually did see some questions who were mentioning that. Again, I apologize, but we can't spend all day here.
Yeah, we have a long discussion about new servants, and then the teach me that people have voted on, which is long. So, it's a thick show. You don't know it yet, except you do because you can actually see the final time. But yeah.
All right. So, but looking at here, we have 33. I don't know what I was about to say, but I saved myself.
33
comments on the post. And that surprises me considering I posted it 2 days late. Literally, Omega was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah, no, it was Wednesday because I'm looking at this. It says 2 days ago. Yeah, no, that's Wednesday.
Yeah, because I was doing a cheeky members only post to let them know about some stuff I had in the pipe.
How cheeky.
And then I was looking at our community page and I was like, oh yeah, shit, Lucky hasn't posted Mailbag. I'll go let him know. I'll go remind him.
To which Lucky responded with a resounding heck and did it. But even so, even 2 days late, we still got 33. So y'all like this. It's a lot of the same people. I can tell. But at the same time, there's new people and other people. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over to this lovely, lovely timer. I'm gonna push start, and we begin. So we're gonna start off Mailbag with the guy who got shrunk and now has to fight off spiders. And I'm glad I only have to deal with ants. But they say, dear Lucky Omega, I was wondering if there's any servant that you wish you had a larger role in story or events. Thanks and keep up the good work. Lucky's quick answer, his go-to answer, motherfucking regular ass Tomoe. Tomacat gets some love. Tomovich is all over Lost Belt 2. But regular ass Tomoe, nada, nothing, nope. Mm-mm.
She had a shopping trip once.
Yeah.
And then immediately jobbed to Solomon, like literally everyone. Well, for me, speaking of the extra crew, though I think obviously this may have gotten alleviated, but I'm really big on a lot of the core FSN guys, especially Emiya, who's a very interesting character that FGO doesn't really examine a lot. Hopefully we get some of that fixed in Summer 5, but I don't actually know yet.
I am hoping that they like talk a little bit about the relationship between Emiya and Elia. That'd be nice.
The only other thing I think to that is Vanilla Artoria also has fucking nothing, but there are also a lot of Artorias, so that's kind of assuaged.
Yeah, if we're talking like original FSN, like honestly, Medea, I feel probably needs some loves. I think the only time she ever really shows up is during Gouda Gouda.
Yes,
she's a joke.
She and Medusa get lumped in as Gouda Gouda, but Medusa at least gets to usually. We have the two alternate versions of her in Babylonia, which had a lot of characterization in it, basically, looking at kind of the 2 points. And usually whenever the sisters are involved.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, I was starting that thought when I talked about Babylonia, and then like, wait, shit, Babylonia happened. We're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
But Medea is definitely, I would say to me, Emi and Medea are the most shafted. Because whenever they mention a Medea, it's almost always Lily. Probably because she's more original, whatever. It's weird.
I don't know. Anyway, that guy who got shot and now having to fight off spiders, thank you very much for your comment. And we move on to the guy who exists, who feels called out over his alias after last week. Lucky can't remember what I called you out, but I probably did, because that's how we do.
There were a lot of people who existed and were guys last week. It was a big theme for no reason, unlike the positive vibes.
Ah, yes. Well, anyway, they say, hey, Lucky Omega, hope you're doing well. Doing alright. I'm being attacked by ants. No question, just wanted to wish you guys a good week. Well, thank you, that guy who exists who feels called out over his alias last week. I hope you're having a good week, too. But we're going to move on to Saber Tomoe's biggest simp in 2 years' time. That's probably a lot of people's mood, not going to lie. But they say, hey guys, just wondering what are both of your most anticipated servants next year? Between Kama, Junao, Spacious Star, Musashi Summer, and Orion, things seem to be really stacked. Sir, you do not, or ma'am, person, thing, object? Listen, Lucky is bad with gendering. He really is.
Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Like, I've talked about this, fairly often, but the front half of, next year is slaying Lucky. Like, we have, like, even if I boil it down to probably my most wants, it's literally I have Murasaki, King Protea, and Kama, like, back to back. Like, right there. And I'm just like, I'm gonna die.
It's a real big front end.
It's a real thing. And then we can start talking about the ancillaries, like fucking Benny Enma as happening. Summer, well, actually, honestly, if I'm gonna talk, Summer 4 is probably not my biggest energy, not compared to like what Summer 3 and Summer 5 is. But Lucky's gonna do what he always fucking does and kills himself during the summer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But like if I have to like narrow it down to 3, it's definitely gonna be Kama, King Protea, and Murasaki.
Well, they said one of my big ones there, Space Ishtar. That's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal towards the end of the year. Shame on you for not mentioning Murasaki at all. That's another big one in the front half of the year. And Summer, especially Summer 1, is a danger zone. Because Lucky, I know you said, oh, you don't care that much about Summer. You do actually, though. Remember, Summer Carmilla.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, but it's like, I think like out of Summer 4, I'm most interested in Summer Nihime, Summer Carmilla, and Summer Carmilla, and there was one more. Oh yeah, and Bunny Artoria.
Those are 2 different banners. You have a problem.
Yes. So I'm like, but
There's
like
always
I
a
said,
reason.
like I said, Lucky's gonna do as he always does and kill himself and not worry about it. Like seriously, people like actually. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna pause the timer real quick. I'm gonna pause the timer
Sure.
because I'm on a tangent. So Lucky actually made a mistake. I actually looked at my Google Play, and I actually told me how much money I spent in the month of August so far. Lucky spent over $1,000 on Google Play. And I was like, oh my god, what did I spend it on? There was like literally like $800 just in FGO. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did spend like $400 on each fucking banner. I was like, shit. But the thing that I always do to justify myself is like, oh yeah, but next year when this rerun comes, I don't have to worry about shit.
Correct.
And I can focus all my savings on whatever summer is coming up there, and hopefully I'll do better. And before I do not do better, and I still have to spend another $400 fucking dollars. But it's like, god fucking damn it. But yeah, this is what I mean when I say Lucky kills himself every summer. But I am going to have one of the thickest fucking summer support setups ever. Anyway, but Lucky is very robust. So anyway, Lucky is restarting the timer because he's done tangenting. So, actually, Omega, did you finish answering the question?
Yeah, no. Space Ishtar is my big one next year, and I'm also interested in Murasaki. And the summer in general is rough. I don't care as much about the 4 stars on the second banner, but I do like Ruler Artoria, so we'll see what happens.
So, thank you, Saber Tomoe's biggest simp in 2 years' time, for your question. We move on to that one Mongol that Lucky and or Mega sliced up during a showdown. That was many. That was very, very many.
I was about to say, one Mongol implies that only one Mongol dies per showdown.
Have you gone as far to get the Sakai clan armor yet?
No. Don't specifically have that one. I have paid enough technique points to be able to kill 3 dudes in a showdown, though.
It's very powerful. Anyway, question. We have wondered many times about a servant getting more story time or spotlight, but on a different but similar train of thought, who would you like to see as the antagonist in the event, and an event centered on them? Lucky doesn't have to think too hard about this. I would definitely like to see me some Tiamat, or maybe some Tomovich.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty easy. Those characters are already antagonistic. This is a question I don't really have an answer for. Like, you asked me, do you have anybody you'd like to see as an antagonist? No, not really. I think a lot of people would say Boudica should have been a villain. I still think those people are technically wrong, because just because you make characters do different things doesn't actually mean that Septim would be written better. But no, so it's weird. Okay, so Fate in general usually tries to make you empathize with antagonists a lot. Yeah. But at the same time, antagonists are usually characters who are written to be antagonists are usually done so by also being really big assholes. It combines the two so that you're like, okay, I understand why, but also, what the fuck, dude? Kind of stuff a lot.
Remember, your waifu has done shitty things.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't really have any characters I want to see as an antagonist more, because usually that means they're gonna do shitty stuff. And have already experienced having to punch various characters I like. So yeah, I don't really have anybody in mind.
I said Lucky can answer easily, because I'm definitely with the it's like how I felt with Summer BB. It's like, all right, BB, you're fucking up. I'm gonna karate chop on you on the head and go home, and I still love you. So anyway,
oh, long-winded BB.
So that one Mongol that Lucky and or Mega slide up during the showdown. Thank you for your comment. We move on to Fluffy.
Well, before we move on, Lucky, we have to press square to end the Mongol suffering.
Ah, yes. Everyone give me a square in chat.
Press square to end suffering. I don't see anybody typing. They're just not going to do it, the animals.
Nope. Lucky's stopping the timer again because...
we're going to wait here.
Yeah. No, because... Fun fact, you know how everyone starts, says, press F to pay respects? Lucky starts saying, swipe down to bow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that a fucking thing. Y'all can't stop me. It's a hard thing to do, but I'm just gonna start saying it. Press square to end suffering. Swipe down to bow. We need more Ghost of Tsushima memes. Alright.
Sushi memes.
Anyway, okay, start the timer again. See, this is how I'm gonna actually preserve more of it. Whenever we start tangent off a mailbag, I'm gonna stop the timer so we can get a better experience. So it started again, so I talk again.
Let's go.
So alias Fluffy is Love, Fluffy in Life says, question: if everyone on Chaldea had a fall game night, how do you think it would go? Who would win? Who would lose? And most importantly, who would rage quit? Everybody.
Well, you can only fit 60 people in one game, so we'd have to either have multiple games or, something. But I think the gamers would win, aka Tomoe. She's very serious.
Nihime, probably.
Nihime's another very serious gamer. That's kind of how her summer is also.
Dark Horse Minamori.
Yeah. He would somehow find the way to give his fall guy a sword and just kill people. We also know that certain people are just universally lucky. Gil, Arjuna, etc. Karna would lose, and so would Ku. A lot of Lancers would probably job, actually. Like, they would get eliminated at the last second. Just something bad would happen to them. And I don't really know necessarily who would rage quit.
Probably a Berserker.
Maybe.
Probably the people talking about the Banana playing games. I can see the Banana rage quitting and then running to Shooten.
Yes. How dare you throw controller, and then just cry to Shooten. Shooten would not play Fall Guys. Actually,
if I remember correctly, Shooten has this thing where she doesn't actively play. She just likes to watch and drink.
No, that sounds like her. She's like, this isn't amusing to me, but watching Kentoki in his all gold Fall Guy fall over would be funny. Raiko would honestly, thinking about it, Raiko would probably be a quitter. Like, she would play just to hang out and do that, and then would be like, this is very frustrating and possibly immoral. I could see her being like, oh, it's not, because it doesn't really seem like her speed, but she would definitely be like, oh, what's this? Kentoki, my child, what are you playing? Don't worry, I'll play with you.
Resident Grabber would be Jalter.
Jalter would be that grabbing animal. She would grab Jean and they would both immediately be eliminated. Because Jean would be like, oh, we can hug. No, you fool, keep going. Damn you.
I also feel that Blackbeard would play, but he would be an actual, somewhat serious player.
Blackbeard would try, but somebody would conspire against him.
Probably.
I don't know if we actually... we can say... Did they make some reference to Medusa playing games?
I don't remember.
I feel like that's been a Gouda Gouda joke, because we know that Nasu in particular likes stuff like Bloodborne, and Yu Asakawa does actually play a lot of games. She streams on Twitch a lot.
Yes, she does.
Also has very good English.
She was actually talking about how she's going to be tweeting more in English.
Yeah, I think she said it was an experiment to tweet more in Japanese and see what response she got, and then she switched back to mostly tweeting in English. But I could see Medusa attempting to play games only to be destroyed by her sisters in the background, quietly mocking her.
Quietly.
Oh, what's that? You missed the jump. Medusa's just like, sisters, please. And then Tomoe just bursts in with Fall Guy double ultimate kill move and does a Fall Guy pile driver somehow.
Asterius would have if the sisters are involved, Asterius would be playing, and he'd be a good boy.
Just so long as nobody tries to apply their noble phantasms to Fall Guys.
No, someone's gonna apply their fucking noble phantasm to Fall Guys.
It's gonna be Gil. Gil's a dirty cheater.
He's gonna do it. Alright, but I think we spent enough time on this one.
Yeah,
so, fun topic, very fun. But, we have to move on. So thank you, Fluffy is Love, Fluffy is Life. We're gonna move on to the guy who's trying to make a VN. You're trying to make a VN? I can see the actual name here, and this guy is in our Discord and hangs out. I was like, oh wow, that's neat. Anyway, they say, hi guys, just about to sleep. Hope you guys stay sleepy.
Hey, we to sleep, boys.
Sleepy boys, high five. Yeah. That would have been so great if we actually synced that up properly.
At least on my end, it sounded synced up.
Nice.
We'll see how it works out in the edit.
Anyway, so that guy's trying to make a VN. Thank you very much. You stay sleepy too. That's a weird thing to tell people. Anyway, next one. That guy who, if need be, will use the 5-star ticket to reunite a happy couple. Powerful move. Powerful move. Question. Are there any spouses or families of servants you want to be summonable so you can reunite them and their Chaldea? Yes. Lucky has told us before, but literally the only reason I summon Cleopatra is just so I can put her with Caesar and be like, yes, I ship this. Main reason I want a Sigurd is because I have a Bryn. Let's see here. Because I have an Irie, I needed an Assassin Emiya, and I needed Ilya's, and then I needed Kuro's, and that's why I'm gonna be getting a Miyu. But yeah, no, it's like if they have the fam, Lucky wants to collect the set and be like, yes, wholesomeness, go.
Yeah, I think this question was more asking if you want characters to be summonable so you can reunite them in future. Which I think a lot of people would say.
Nefertiti?
Nefertari. T is a different one. Yeah, Nefertari. But that is Ramses the Great, aka Ozymandias' chief wife, who, based on what we know, they had a very, very cute and lovely relationship.
Mm-hmm. Also, I can't remember, is it Haiti or Mercedes? No, it's Haiti.
Yeah, Haiti. That's the later one. Mercedes is Dantes' first love.
Yes.
Whereas Haiti is the girl who looks a lot like Gudako. But she also has a design, which is cool.
Very cool designs. But if we're talking about other family, I'm trying to think.
I mean, we've got a couple of Orkney siblings who still aren't in the pool yet.
Yeah. Listen, Lucky looked at that fucking trailer. There's some shit happening in Camelot. We might not have to wait long for some shit. Just saying.
We're gonna get some stuff. I'm happy. I want stuff.
Yes, stuff is happening.
Also, seriously though, Aggravain had a design for forever. They gave him a 3-star background in the stage play. Why? Help me out here.
But other family, I'm trying to think.
I don't think we got a lot.
I guess technically Cryosaur. Technically, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. We can continue. We can get Medusa faces. Oh, I wouldn't be happy, but well, for her sister. But Skahak has a daughter and a sibling.
I can't Celtic. I know what you're talking about, but I can't Celtic.
It's like Oif. Like there's an A, an O, and an I in there in the proper full romanization. It's weird. Her daughter's just Uhak.
Uhak,
like Skahak, right. But with an Ua at the front. Uhak.
Oh, Architect does bring up a good one. Give us fucking Sita. Super important.
Ooh, yeah, Sita. That's another power couple that people want to reunite.
I died, and I literally died of sadness in Summer 3, where you fight Rama, and his title is got separated from his wife. I was like, how dare? I'm gonna go lay on the fucking floor now.
It's a painful one.
How dare? Yeah, no. Really. Yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, without thinking about it too hard, we're gonna go with that because I said I want to try and get to as many as possible. So that guy who, if need be, will use his 5-star sticker to reunite a happy couple. Thank you very much for your question. We're gonna move on to Zed. Just Zed. Question. So I've seen some people say that Summer 5 has a relatively lowered bar when it comes to Summer Servant selection and has the weakest lineup of Summer Servants. Whether that is true or not is irrelevant, as I'm actually wondering what would yours to least hype lineup of Summer waifus? As in a lineup where you look at it and go, I'm happy for these people who like these summers, but I'm not interested in any of these. Just off the top of your head. You don't actually like or blah blah. Ugh. You don't actively have to actively hate.
Yeah, you did some redundancy there. You're killing Lucky.
Any of the servants, just ones that you would be not as hyped for if the lineup of servants was you were like. This is such a run on. Jesus. Zed, just Zed.
Commas, please. You need some commas to break this up.
Okay, so...
And then you have a parenthetical at the end.
I know, I'm just like...
Because at first I thought this was literal. Like, in the 5 summer lineups, what was your least hyped? Which, ironically, actually would probably be the back half of Summer 4, because I only care about Ruler Artoria. No offense if you like Okita or Melt, but they're not on my radar as far as summers go. But no, this question is actually asking if there was a theoretical lineup of Summer Servants, who would you be least hyped about? Which I would be like, shit, dude, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna get through this. All
right, finish it off, Lucky. I'll think.
All right, so Lucky's gonna take this slow. You don't actively have to actively hate any of the servants, just ones you'd not be as hyped for if the lineup was servants you like more. If you don't have a full-up lineup, then one servant who you would just not care about getting a summer all for is fine. This is the part where Lucky just silently looks at the camera just with a what? Expression. Because like I said, the first half, yeah, Lucky's not as hyped for Summer 4. I like me some Melt, I like me some Okita, I like me some Artoria. But as I said, the whole event, as a whole, I'm not super jazzed about. I'm just like, okay, this is summer. I'm gonna kill myself, but meh. But Omega is better at understanding words than I am, so I'm just gonna look to him for some sort of fucking answer for this back half.
All right, so I think what they're asking is if there was a, like I said, if there was a theoretical lineup of summer, like who would you not care if they got a summer alt? Which is like I gotta think on that because like honestly, most like if you look at like summer CEs for instance or other characters, no, I want most of those. I don't know what are characters I'm like there are characters I'm kind of over, but I'm trying to think. Fun fact, most of them are dudes, so.
Yeah, I know. It's like, there's a lot of dudes who I wouldn't care if they got a swimsuit or not, but that's kind of the cop-out answer.
I mean, I guess there would be some, like, I think, does Wuzeitan have a summer CE? That would be just like don't care.
I think she does. I think she does. Yeah, no, she does.
That would probably be a neutral, like, There's probably a couple in there, but none really stick out, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, she's in the one with Cleo, that's right. But
yeah. I'd take a summer Cleo, though. I'd have a regular Cleopatra, so fucking,
I said, Lucky's a fucking freak, so he'll take any summer girl in a fucking, and a summer outfit.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, okay, theoretically, technically, I should say probably the first half of Summer 5 is my least hype, but that's because, speaking of characters I don't care about getting alts, almost all of those have already happened, actually. That's Kiara, Summer BB, I'm like, whatever. Melt's fun, I don't mind Melt as much. I'm just like, I don't actually, like, Summer Ilya is fun, but I'm probably not rolling on that banner because I want that second half much more. So much more. Yeah, it's just like, so yeah, I don't know. I think that's the thing, is if you want to ask, because it's kind of like, hey, what's your least hyped alt be? I'm like, ooh, those have already happened. Because, like, Omega's already said that he's not super into the evil Kohai or the like, I don't really go for the Kiara style thing, though Summer Kiara is at least fun in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I got. Lucky, are there any, like, did you, in the all me rambling, did you think of any characters you would just be like, meh, specifically?
No.
Or, yeah, no.
No,
I didn't think
Lucky is a lover of women's of all types and styles. That's
like,
why I kill myself
as
every
we've
summer.
seen from the fact that Summer Abby exists, and Summer Ilya too, they can do fun stuff with, quote-unquote child servants. Like, Summer Bunyan? They would do something adorable and hilarious. She'd probably do, like, a splash game, but it would be a tidal wave because she's huge.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cannonball.
It would be great.
That's what her MP would just be called Cannonball. It'd be super fast.
Cannonball, yeah, super fast. Just shout Cannonball, dive in, everybody dies. See, like, that's the thing. Summer is wacky and wild, so, It's a lot of fun.
Lucky cops out because my answer would be a male servant, and technically I don't find that fair.
Yeah.
So, Zed, thank you for your question. We move on to Tomoe's Die Saves Lives. Yes, they do. They also end them. So, question. Hey, you two. Hope your week has been doing good, both in life and FGO. I'm still covered in ants. As for my question, if you can go back and make the new to FGO not do something that you now regret, what would that be? What is
I
this
feel
sentence?
like you needed a pronoun in there. If we're gonna do our grammar critique, I think there should be a pronoun in there. I'm gonna assume you meant if I would make the new to FGO me not do anything that I now regret, because that's how subject, object, and verbs do. Not really. I think I had most of my. Me personally, Lucky's probably gonna say he should have told himself to spend less money, but he still would have spent his money. It's like that. I think that's a fucking Rio comic, where Ryo Godaku goes back in time to tell herself not to roll on that banner, you won't get anything, and then to con herself into saving quartz for the future, and it doesn't work because her past self just goes, but my luck has changed because the future's changed. Lucky would be that guy. Lucky wouldn't listen to himself.
No, I wouldn't. No. If we're talking about, like, new to FGO, I think the thing is Lucky rolled a bit on story and on banners he didn't actually care about. He just did it because it was the roll. I wouldn't have done that. Yeah.
That would probably be the only thing, is I would have rolled maybe a little... I would say maybe I would have rolled a little bit less on story, but I didn't have any fucking units anyway, so it's not that bad. But I did most of I learned most of my do's and don'ts, like, don't spend SQ on AP, don't burn anything, etc., etc.
But it's not necessarily a new to FGO, but I probably would have told myself to spend less on banners that probably had more rate ups in the future. Because as I said, like, Guys, we've been playing this game for 3 years. It's like, it's slowly but surely, I'm starting to get into that long game. It's just like, I can wait a year.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
This raid up will come at a better opportunity. Like, I've already literally seen people just now going, I can roll for Summer Martha again at Christmas. It's fine. Like, because we have that foreknowledge.
Yeah. So I probably would have told myself to not roll at the beginning and roll less on banners with future raid ups. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you, Tomoe's, Thighs Saves Lives. For that, we move on to Shion, who has lost all of their free time because real life. But they say, greetings, Lucky and Omega. Hope all is well in your lives. Ants count continues. My question this week is fairly straightforward. Who is your favorite welfare servant and why? And can be based on design, gameplay, overall character, or any combination. Personally, of course there's a personally, my favorite is Aris because the Vine and supposed big Izanami energy. But I'm curious where you stand. Keep up the incredible work. Technically it's Izanami and Izanagi and big spear energy, but whatever.
Spear.
Also, I'd like to remind everyone that is the fucking spear that kept fucking Oreo pinned to a fucking mountain. It's fucking lore, y'all.
It's wild.
It is wild.
Favorite welfares.
Let's see here.
I get a lot of mileage out of my welfares, but it's always tough picking favorites.
Well, if we're talking about use, as people can see in my stream right now, I am fucking rocking a lot of cha-cha in my farming. But
I mean, I think I like my Summer Ishtar the best, but I think the welfare I use the most is probably Nobu. Actually, is there a good? Let me see if I can find a good list of the welfares somewhere.
I'm pretty sure there's a welfare list.
Oh, I'm surely there is. I just have to see if I can load one quickly so we don't waste too much time.
I can pause the timer.
Yeah, sure, go for it, because I'm pulling resources.
Alright, we're pulling resources. Pausing the timer.
Because I need to actually look at a list. Like, you guys may think that Omega's really good at keeping lots of stuff in his head, and he is, but there's a lot of research and fact-checking involved. So.
Let's see. BB Ishtar Chop Chop. Oh, they have Paul Bunyan technically as a welfare.
Oh, yeah, she's free.
She is free. Ooh, actually, so looking at this list, because I pulled up a list real quick, I think mine will probably be between Cha-Cha, Bunyan, and Shiki.
That's right, Shiki's a big one. I use Nobu a lot.
Lucky still needs to get the ping pong pong.
Yeah, I think you can pull up a timer. I'm looking at my list now too. I got one. I'll show it to the audience at home.
Okay. I start the timer again.
Time has resumed. Like, in the early game, I used Castles a lot, but I've really fallen that off since I actually have rolled casters now. So yeah, I think it's still... My most used and I think most useful are just either regular old Nobu or, like you read this earlier, Shiki. Though I have the most, I think I like, as terms of characters, Ishtar and Jean the best. Shocking, Summer alternates are cool. But we'll have to see how future ones. We're not full up. We got some more.
Like I said, I'm excited for...
unless they go apeshit, we're probably not going to have a lot more this year in JP.
Oh, yeah, no, probably not. I'm wondering what they're going to do for fucking Halloween, quote unquote.
I don't know if we're going to do a Halloween. I hope we do something that has a welfare. That was kind of the biggest crime, I think, of Saber Wars 2, was they didn't even have a welfare to kind of shake that out.
Yeah. Okay. But Shion, who has lost all their free time because of real life grumble, thank you very much. This one comes from Sidarant, who puts their alias in quotation marks, which is trying to plan out how to pet the Tomoe's fluffy tail without being spotted by the trio. So you didn't need to put your name in there, my dude. But they say, hey there, Studio Omega. How's the far side? It's dark. So, if guys invited a servant to karaoke, who would it be? What song would you make them sing? And would you sing alongside them? Hope you guys the best and keep up the great content.
To answer that last bit first, no. No, I don't do that. Yeah, you're asking me about music. If Lucky can think of something, he's probably got a way better answer than this. I don't fucking know. About songs? What? You asking me about songs? I don't even know what songs servants would know. I can tell you I would not pick Liz or Nero. That's it. That's all I got.
Actually, you know what? Well, I want to have a golden time, so funny enough, I want to go to karaoke with Golden. I want to go with Kentucky. We're going to run away. We're going to hire from Raiko. It's going to be great. Yeah, you know what? Me and the fucking boys. Let's grab fucking Golden. Let's get Koo. Fuck it. We'll grab Cats or Girls too. That'd be fun. That sounds like a fucking party. Let me tell you right now, if I'm singing, like, I don't want girls. I don't want girls to have. I'm not that great a singer. But me and the boys, that'd be great. That'd be fucking great. As for a song, there's a song that I like screaming at the top of my lung. It's To the Top by Twin FX. If you don't know the song, it's like the opening song to the 4th episode of Tales from the Borderland. You know, the one that starts with, "Oh, I know it's not the right time tonight." That one. I don't even know how that sounds on the sound wave, but whatever. But I love belting that out, so I'd scream that with my boys. Yes, we would all sing it together, because it's great. Oh, yeah, but there's my answer. So thank you, Siderean, trying to plan out how to pet Tomomo's fluffy tail without getting spotted by the trio. For your question. The next one comes from writer of Too Many Lewds. Huh, sir, I tell you, not enough. But they say. So, Lucky Omega, a question for you. With lots of early... Hang on one second here. Okay, the timer is still going. Just double checking that. Yep. So, with lots of early non-superheroes works having not been given proper Western releases, so it relies on fan strand lessons, a lot of fanon and misinformation runs about in discussion forums and fanfiction. So I ask you, which pieces of fanon misinformation makes you the most mad when you see it passed around online? My two are Gilgamesh being corrupted by the Grail Mud, which he is not in the Zero LN says so, and a scene in CCC has him sleep in the digital equivalent just fine.
Don't know about CCC.
Yeah. The other is that Shiro has UBW due to being distorted, which he isn't. It's due to his origin and element being sword, as stated in the Theory of Magic document.
Yes, this is correct. This last bit is correct.
Yes. I didn't know it was actually stated in the Theory of Magic document. I just remember that I think it was probably you who told me his origin was just sword. I'm just
that's explained as several places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about misinformation that really bothers me. Most of it, I think we've caught by now because Fate has been replicated so many times. It's mostly just people don't remember shit from CCC, or there's some minor details from the original visual novel that people don't like. The thing that blows my mind is that we missed a lot of detail for so many years because people didn't realize it was like a proper noun about the fact that the Einsburns had Siegfried's Cursed Gold.
Yeah.
Which is actually a big deal because it explains a lot of them. Like, they can afford to do lots of things, but also they fuck it up so much. Don't use Cursed Gold, kids. Cursed Gold, not even once. And there are some things that are like a debate. Like, some people are like, oh, Gil's been corrupted by the Grail Mud. I'm like, okay, so the Grail Mud definitely does weird stuff to him. I don't know if we want to say it, whether it's corrupted or not, but he is definitely a huge asshole.
Oh, by the way, the quests have passed over, so if you want to get started on your farming, now's the time.
I may step out while you read the next question.
Yeah.
But yeah,
stuff. But like, I don't know if it's necessarily misinformation, or like fanon, but a lot of people give Sieg from Fate Apocrypha a lot of shit for being a fucking cardboard. When just because they've seen him from the anime adaptation. But a lot of people who've read the LN is like, no, he just doesn't talk a lot. All of this shit is introspective.
Yeah, that is a thing that I would generally say that some people have bad impressions of characters just from the animated version because usually those cut out the internal monologue. Sieg is a character who has a lot of internal monologue. He, like, thinks about stuff a lot. Emi Yashiro is another character. He has shitloads of inner monologue. He literally narrates the entire visual novel. But, boy howdy, that would be a lot of fucking dialogue in the animes.
Mm-hmm.
So he often, I think, comes across as a little bit of a doofus because he's just... Well, and then there's the infamous translations like, people die when they are killed, or just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right. Like, those are very literal translations of something he's saying in Japanese. Like, when he's saying people should die when they are killed, he is talking about the verb, basically, to be killed, and that they should die, as in they should stop existing. That is, by the way, a weird thing you may notice from Japanese. You will hear the verb that is usually translated as killed or murdered used a lot. Like, you know, if you hear about, man killer, munogoroshi, stuff like that. Like, you will hear those verbs used a lot, which when translated literally, weird. It doesn't flow in English because we have different grammar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's probably just the biggest thing is people form opinions on characters without actually understanding them. But that is, I think, as X said in the chat, more of an adaptation than a fanon or misinformation.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, well, no, I could technically say it's misinformation because they're basically people are making assumptions based on only part of part of an information is rather the whole. So technically, I think it counts. Lucky will take his point on a technicality. Haha. So, writer of Too Many Lewds, thank you very much. This next one comes from Dave Lord and Savior. Dave Lord and Savior. I bet there's actually a guy named David Lord. Anyway, they say, is there ever an explanation for why servants don't use their spirit forms or whatever it's called whenever they go invisible during a fight? It's probably because they're immaterial and can't affect anything. They're fucking
Correct.
ghosts.
It's not really useful. Also, you can still get got by magic and stuff.
Yeah.
But technically, in our fights, we are already projecting our servants outside of their servant forms. We are summoning them from our cool Saintgraft collectible cards. That is canonically what happens in the game FGO. The animes usually skim over that, but that's because they have decent supporting casts. So yeah, no, we're already materializing them anyway, so it would probably be weird if they went to spirit form, other than when they get punched.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, thank you, Dave, Lord and Savior. This next one comes from Totally Not a Biscuit. I press X to doubt. Question is 10 gapples enough for the lottery? I heard it was a good time to farm lots of stuff. Have a nice day.
Well, I mean, it is a good time to farm lots of stuff. You got the apples you got. That's it. I mean,
yeah.
How are you going to get more apples?
Well, I mean, if you are dedicated to getting more apples, you can do, high level bond stuff with lower level servants, but I think that's the only way to get them, other than when they're given for free, I think. Because usually, low rarity servants, when they pop 6 through 10, they don't give quartz, they give apples. But that's still fucking way more fucking intensive than you're gonna want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's only 10 full refills. Though, I don't know, if you only have 10, maybe you're a newer player, so you might get some level ups for free APs. A lot of people can cruise on that for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people will yell at you and say that that's not enough apples. How could you dare think that? But we're not going to yell at you for that. I'm just going to say that may not be enough apples to do what you want. And in future, remember to stockpile your apples for things you think you'll need them. But lots of people go apeshit just on natural AP, so...
Yeah, as I said, a lot of events are the events that people definitely save their apples for, because usually it's on, with the exception of reruns, a lot of events are unlimited boxes, which means basically unlimited mats in QP, as long as you have the AP to feed them. And a lot of the times, the best nodes for farming that stuff are usually 40, so even max level players can only do 3 runs before they have to, reload. Yeah. But also remember that lotto events usually have apples in the boxes themselves.
Yeah, usually because the set ones, the first 5 or so, where you get the actual good shit, is usually a couple of bronzes and silvers and a gold.
Yeah. And usually, I think, usually on the event maps, the first time you usually get an apple as well. So, personally, 10 apples is enough to probably get you started, but after that, your momentum is usually going to be what's in the boxes themselves, which will definitely be a slowdown, but you won't stop dead. You won't stop dead in the water.
Yep. And if you think to yourself, man, that wasn't enough apples, you'll know for next time.
Yep. Play the long game. So anyway, thank you. Totally Not a Biscuit. We're going to move on to the guy who wants to get that stab by Sisho. Dear Soulfire, Lucky, and Omegas Prime. Omegas. Have you ever thought about starting on another part of the Nasuverse? You know, like Tsukihime, Mahosaki no Yuru, Suki no Sango, or any other Fate series like Strange Fake, or Prism manga, or Foxtail, and the FGO manga. Just to see the difference and wondering, just to see the differences, just wonder, since you guys never talk about the other parts in the Nasuverse, and any piece of information can be plot changing. I won't say good luck, because I'm since you went mine. Do you even listen to our show, my dude?
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, we talk about it a lot. We're going to talk about it a lot today, actually, because we're going to talk about Magecraft.
We don't talk about things as a separate entity. We always talk to them in relation to FGO. We talk about, we don't talk about Tsukihime because we haven't had a Tsukihime collab. That's literally it.
Yes, and also because Tsukihime is literally incompatible with Fate. Yeah. That's a big point that Nasu made when the two came out, and it was okay, there's kaleidoscope and stuff, but also these universes operate fundamentally differently, even though they're really similar. They can't.
We're totally constant about Kara no Kyokai.
Because we love Kara no Kyokai.
We do.
We've talked before about Prisma. We don't talk about a lot of stuff now because they're not really coming out with anything new that we can follow. The Prisma manga is still going, but it's, I think it's monthly and in Japanese. I don't think it's being localized actively. So
Train
like
fake
that's
is
a really
its own
slow
weird
process
thing.
to talk about. And
That's
like a
like-
lot of this stuff still isn't localized, so
Localize.
like they talked about Tsuki no Sango or Maho no Yoru. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'd love to talk about those. Fucking localize it. So yeah.
And
We
don't
talk about
at
stuff
me
in
with
context, but
and don't at me about fans translations.
yeah, I mean, I've read some fan translations, but those can be unreliable. They can stop short. I
Yep.
think I originally read like 80% of Fate Zero before the anime came out, but it wasn't finished. They just either I think the last volume had been published, but it hasn't been translated. So I was like, well, I'll never finish this. And then the anime came out, and it worked just fine.
So, like I said, we talk about the Nasuverse as a whole, but usually in relation to FGO or whatever event is going on at the moment. Because first and foremost, this is a show about FGO.
Yeah, and if you're gonna ask, why don't we do like a Nasuverse podcast or whatever? Because nobody would fucking watch it. Speaking from spiritual experience here.
All right, but the guy who wants to get stabbed by Shisho, thank you very much. We move on to Rage Venting Proto. Sorry, Axe said some cheeky shit, so now I'm staring at him. But they say, hello to the both of you. Since harassment is not a good thing, also makes someone an idiot, or their death is unsatisfactory. What? Hang
Yeah,
on.
you got a grammar problem there, Proto. That's I understand. Obviously, we know Proto from our Discord, so it's not
okay, hang on. Let me. Hello to the both of you. Since harassment is not a good thing, also it makes someone an idiot, or their death is unsatisfying, or they didn't die, what is your way to rage vent on characters?
There definitely need to be a transitional phrase in between those two thoughts.
What is your way to rage vent on rage vent? Rage vent?
Yeah, vent your rage. I think
Vent
again,
my rage?
grammar's a little weird. I don't think we usually say it that way around in English.
How do I apologize, but I don't think I rage vent on my characters. Lucky doesn't get pissed off at his characters. He usually gets pissed off at himself.
I mean, I think again, we need a transitional phrase in here. I think the question because their death is unsatisfying or they don't die. How do you vent on a character? I think it's because we talked about people either on WhatsApp or on Let's Say FGO, people harassing voice actors, which is dumb, as even stated in this question. I don't vent. I don't know.
Like a character is a character. The person is a person. If we're talking about like FGO servants, these people have been long and dead and gone, and there's nothing you can do about their life. If they do something that pisses me off in the now, well, usually I don't actually get that pissed off. Usually, like, Lucky has talked about it. Like, one of the reasons why I say I'm evil is because I look at other evil things, I'm just like, yeah, no, I see why you did that. You shouldn't have done that. So here, I'm gonna karate chop you on the head. Bonk. Now we're gonna go home. Let's go. Like,
I think we exemplified how we don't really try to be petty about stuff with a couple weeks ago when we were like, yeah, everybody said Saber Maeve was the worst, and I just don't get it.
yeah.
What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, like, so, like, again, like, I usually don't get mad at my characters. It's like, they're literally like this impression of someone from long ago. If we're talking about voice actors, like, well, again, they're not directly the character, they're someone who just voices them. So you shouldn't get mad at them. And if we're talking about the character creators and whatnot, well, they're trying to make a character that fits a certain profile. And if you're getting mad at them, I don't understand that either. Like, listen, Lucky very rarely does not, like, generally does not really rages or hates. Because it's, one, that rage and hate is usually useless. Second, that rage and hate usually does nothing. And unless you're using that rage and hate to fuel yourself to making something better, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
So-
honest. Like, guess what? FGO's never done this to me. If I really don't like a character, I just drop something. I'm like, get this out of my life. I take it and I throw it away. That says a lot about me as a person. Yes, my strategy is avoidance, audience. Yes, you haven't picked that up in like 150 something episodes. But yeah, no, that's how I deal with shit I don't want in my life. I'm like, get that out of here. Like, if push comes to shove, sure, I will metaphorically punch something, but usually you can just move shit out of your life. Just drop people from it. Get out of them.
That's why.
Yeah, so if I don't like characters, I just ignore them. There are lots of characters in FGO I don't like, but I don't. That doesn't matter. That doesn't actually affect my thing. I've expressed before some of these statements. We talked about Caster Gile before, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's actually that cool, but whatever. I'm more my transference is more onto the people who say these things, like people who are like, as an example, to totally single some people out. Don't worry, I'm not singling you out that hard. People who are like, Kiara's the coolest. Yes, great culty lady. I'm like, okay, future cultist. All right, great. I noted this about you. I will always think of you as a future cultist, but okay. Does that affect us right now? No. Like, am I gonna get mad at Kiara? No. Especially because everybody should know Kiara is a horrible fuck-up.
Yes, she is. I still
And
love
she
her.
knows it.
Mhm.
In many ways, both as a good person and an evil person, she's a fuck-up.
Yes.
And people, like, listen, you can get on people. Don't kink shame anybody.
Nope.
I've also said that I don't feel the same way about BB that lots of people do, but I think I can work with BB in our mutual annoyance relationship. I'm tan. Please help me, senpai. No, you're staying tan forever. You know what you did. Fucking making me go through 50 million time loops. Yes, I had a nice summer vacation. Thank you for asking, BB.
And see, this is where Lucky goes like, I'm gonna karate chop in your head and we're going home.
Yeah, no, the whole boop the snoot. Just be like,
Mhm.
no, you're gonna stay tan to remember what you've done. Yeah, no, that's like I don't hold things against it. Like, the things that make me annoyed about characters are usually the way people treat characters, whether that's a positive or a negative thing. And usually I react to people. And honestly, I try not to hold too much residual anger to people anyway, because that's, like Lucky said, that's just not productive.
Yeah.
But that's us, and that's probably why we can still be making this show after 3 years or whatever.
Yeah. Like I said, like Omega is like talking about like, hey, no, like I like Kiara and BB, and I know that Omega doesn't, so I'm not always constantly all like, no, she's so cool. I'm just like, no, I like her. And then I leave it at that. And we're like,
hey,
okay.
and in the reverse, I know I'm not a super fan of those style of characters, but other people like them, so I'm like, well, whatever, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Guess what? And we've been doing this show for 3 years, and I don't think we've ever had like a big. Well, we've had plenty of times where that's the thing. Me and Omega can agree to disagree and be fucking fine with that. There are people who can't.
Yeah, we're pretty good at I think we literally said that last week. It was the question about spending habits and like jumping off the cliff, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna have to agree to have different definitions on this.
And we're like,
moved
and
on.
I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And we moved on. Didn't think about it. Like, I totally forgot about that.
No, I think I only brought it up because you literally said agree to just go like, no, I think we said that last week.
Yeah.
That was the phrase I used.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, if someone has a different opinion, okay, cool. You have a different opinion. Doesn't affect me. If you keep yelling that opinion at me, though, I might get a little mad.
Yeah, that, like I said, my response is to my annoyance is with people.
Mm-hmm. All right, but we've spent a lot of time on this one, so
Let's
wait,
keep going.
Where am
Power
I?
move. What's up?
Okay, here I am. I lost where I was. All right, so thank you, Rage Venting Proto. This next one comes from I can't think of an alias, so Lucky will just have to read this out aloud instead. You are correct. Dear Looking at Mega, how goes Ember Gathering? Horrible. I've been listening to my servant voice lines. I remember a match that has any voice lines where she interacts with any servants, nor does any servant have any voice lines for Mash. So my question is, besides the Chaldean servants, which servants do you think Mash should have voice lines for, or should have voice lines for Mash? Clearly Lancelot.
Yeah, I think it's just Lancelot. Everybody else is actually part of the crew.
Well, actually, I can also see some other ones, like,
Well, that's true.
Lancelot.
We did have that was a whole, like, flashback sequence in, the Babylonian anime talking about all the people who gave Mash all those great speeches.
Yeah.
There are a few.
Like, I could definitely see, like, so I would say, like, John, Nero, Drake,
Just did Bond 5 with Suzuka, by the way.
Nice.
That's how my Ember Farming is going.
Bedivere, Nightingale.
But honestly, I think the reason why MASH doesn't have dialogue with those characters is because MASH is a story constant. She's always talking about those past experiences in the main story.
Also, I'm pretty sure MASH literally has the most voice lines because she literally saves her monthly fucking rollover ones. And you can just go look at them, whatever.
Yeah, MASH has a lot of voice lines too.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you. I can't think of an alias, so Lucky will just have to read this out aloud instead. We're going to move on to A Girl in Love with Da Vinci. That's good love. Question, what are your spending limits, if any?
That's a good question. I think Lucky already answered this earlier in a tangent. Sorry, I had a cough. I think I said mine kind of last week, like I said, talking about a conversation. I'm willing to maybe buy an 80-pack or two, but I don't like to. But I've also said this, all forms of spending money are anathema to me.
We talked about this last week. So Lucky usually sets his limit to 2 80-packs a month. Usually. I start burning my soul's fire usually when I see either A, it's a server that I really, 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 really want, or B, everyone else won't shut up about how they got them in like 110 spin. That kills me. That puts the peer pressure on me, and I'm like,
Yeah, animal people do that.
gives me the agita.
Though, I will say, whenever some certain people do that in our community, everybody is just like, fuck you. They know who they are. The luck sacks know who they are. Well, the question X is, what's the purpose of the sharing?
So, thank you, a girl in love with Da Vinci. Lucky's gonna go lay on the floor for a little bit. Wait, no, I can't. I have to...
Floor, Lucky.
So, this next one comes from highly nutritional food for Lucky's ego. Tasty. Hello, elderlies. This is not highly nutritional food for my ego. You fucker. I just turned 33. I feel old, alright? I got gray hairs in my beard and in my hair. How dare you? But they say. I was wondering of all the event store servant lines, which has been your favorite. If you can't think of any, you can just choose between Chiki's Ping Pong 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 or Abby's Kuroneka Pancake. I'm assuming Kuroneka Pancake is a Summer 5 line.
Yeah, I believe so. Because she is the shopkeep.
Well, that's already been rocketed to my top 3. I'll tell you that right now. But even if I haven't heard it.
Pin, pan, pon, pan, pon. Blah. Fuck, it's a fucking tongue twister.
Ping pong, pan, pong. That's still pretty fucking... No, like, even if that wasn't all this, I'd probably pick that one. Like, I like it enough that I've got to cut it out and make it so that everyone can just make that their... I'm literally gonna make that my fucking phone, alert sound. Bing, bom, bom, bom. I'm like, yes. Anyway, not so, highly nutritional food for Lucky's ego, thank you. We still got 5 minutes here, and we still got... Fuck, we could...
Shit, I had a slight tangent.
What?
It's okay, keep going, the timer's rolling.
The timer's rolling.
I had a tangent I was gonna bring up, but I forgot it, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so this one is, this other thing, and something I forgot, but put it in anyway. That's their alias, by the way. Dear Lucky and Omega, so I've been farming all these skeletons, and not one of them has an evil bone inside them. Does this mean I've been killing good skeletons this entire time? Yes, clearly. Moving on. Thank you, this other thing, and something I forgot, but put it in anyway. This next one comes from Secret Casino King Bum Bun. Wore my power level ochre shirt out, and someone had to ask me what it meant. Sent them y'all's way, but then it got me thinking. I started watching y'all after I found the video with Voice where you talked about who can beat Gil. I don't know much about the early meme lore of Studio Mega. Where/how did the Rabbit of Tyranny come about? Man,
through tyranny.
So, oh man,
you've always been a rabbit.
Yeah, I've always. I gotta stop because I gotta think here. Like,
you can hold it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold this one because, like I said, this is kind of a tangent. But Lucky's always been a rabbit. Lucky was born in the year of the rabbit. I was born in 1987. That's the year of the rabbit. Fire rabbit. Also could be fire cat if you want to use some weird Chinese shit. But so I've always been a rabbit, and every time I look at the fucking Chinese astrology things, like no, rabbit actually seems to fit my personality pretty well. So I've always been a rabbit. And like, so my last name is Jackson. Like, I'm not too shy about my actual name, but my last name is Jackson. So I've always had this joke about being Jack Rabbit because that's an actual creature out there. So, for a while though, after I got out of the My Little Pony phase, because that's where Lucky comes from. Fun fact: My Little Pony persona was named Lucky, who also wore a signature black hoodie because Lucky loves black hoodies. But I was trying to reinvent my engine a little bit, so I was like, all right, I have Lucky. I have Jackson name, so I can have Jack, and I'm a rabbit. So let me try and push myself as Lucky Jack Rabbit. Didn't really mesh out. But when I started doing this with Omega, and we got the Discord, for a while there, I was big dick swinging, and I would start doing weird fucking shit to people, like change their name, kick them out of calls, mute them, all that stuff, and I'm just like, tyranny! I don't know exactly where that started.
Well, it's because, it's a Spartacus meme about tyranny and oppression. Like, people just start yelling about it.
Yeah. And so I started setting it up, and I don't know exactly at what point Rabbit of Tyranny happened. But probably
I think people just created it knowing that you are a rabbit.
Yeah.
And then that you did tyranny. By the way, we still occasionally do that stuff, just not as much. We understand it's not fun all the time. It's a little funny a little bit of the time.
Yes.
As our community has gotten bigger, and as people say, it's gotten longer lasting. Some people don't understand, the origin of the jokes anymore. So you gotta space out the comedy.
Yeah, but the Rabbit of Tyranny, like, honestly, like, for the longest time, Lucky's been trying to figure out, alright, I want some fucking personas going up in this shit. What would I be? Well, I'm the Rabbit of Tyranny, so let's make an evil-looking rabbit. And that just turned into a black and red blob that has bunny ears. And I've been making a fuck ton of emotes about it. I recently just made a fucking comrade. I actually really love the comrade emote.
It's a good one, yeah. You worked on that one a little bit.
Comrade emote, where it's just like, it's a diamond head, black and red diamond head with like little lines, and then bunny ears, and I put a fucking Ushanka on the top.
The bestest of hats.
Yeah. That's right, I did make this one. Someone requested Tyranny Rabbit and a Pope hat, so I made that, and then I made fucking light beams come out from the hat. And I just called it Behold!
It's another very good one. He's very smiley. Like, Comrade Rabbit is very, very, very off to Siberian gulag with you kind of face. Whereas Behold is, full cat face.
Mm-hmm.
Full :3.
Mm-hmm.
We're still paused, right?
Yes.
I remembered my tangent, because you were talking about being on the floor, and then you immediately powered into another question. I was saying that in the future, when we have an actual studio, possibly with camera, we're going to need a floor mat and floor cam for Floor Lucky.
Yes.
Where Lucky can just descend onto the floor, and we can just lower a microphone down there.
Yeah, Lucky's... Lucky's
also,
been powering...
by the way, I want to say, talking about the lore, shout out to anybody who's bought a shirt, and shout out to anybody who's willingly wears a shirt we sell in public. Check out
I know.
I'm
super happy that someone wore your shirt and someone asked about it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, public recognition. It makes me happy.
Buy more shirts. All right.
I should now that people have mentioned it, now I kind of I want to go redo the fucking Tyranny icon and maybe make it a little bit better. Lucky still has 2 shirts in the fucking hopper waiting to be done. I just haven't fucking finished them because they're typography shirts and I'm not good with typography. Ugh. Anyway, starting the timer again. We have 4 minutes left.
Yep.
So, thank you, Secret Casino King Bum Bum. The next one comes from Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Merkava, Maine. This might be asked before, but is there any event that you guys are really looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Gale first, taking a turn for the insane myself.
I
guess
want to see Onlyland.
I want to see Onlyland. I'm excited what to do, and I do want Magecraft shooting. I'm excited for that.
Not next year, but 2 years from now. People thought very well of the White Day event, the A and C one with Odysseus. So I'm super interesting to see what happened because people apparently liked that, and as seen from Summer 3, the people can be trusted.
So thank you, Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Merkava, Maine. We move on to is looking for rolling Saber Tomoe for is 2 years. Is 2 years because damn she's hot. Is 2 years. Dear comrade, Lucky and Omega of Glorious Discord server, what events and reruns are you looking forward to until the end of the year? Personally, I'm looking forward to the Zero rerun to get Mama Air best of Lucky about the night. We just answered this 30 seconds ago. Moving on, thank you, is looking forward to rolling Summer Toei is 2 years because damn she's hot. Next, we move on to Killian King. Have 2 questions. Hang on, let me.
Hold on, we gotta read more.
Alright, sorry, Killian King. I'm skipping you not because your question is dumb or anything, because your question sparks conversation. We don't have time for that.
Throw it in the bag. Ask me again next week.
Yep. This one comes from Blaine. Hi, again, still loving the content you guys provide. Even if my question got missed last thing, it was still fun to see you guys discuss things. I will post a new question, though, that I've been thinking about a lot, especially with your content with card games and Fate. I don't if this has been asked before, but if FGO got a full-out card game, do you think it'd take more approach of games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, the style of games like Vanguard, or the style such as Magic? Thanks again for the content and being a great source of fun. Lucky is going to say a quick answer and not elaborate. I would like to see it as Magic, because that is I am more familiar with, and every time I see Mega play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I go, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I think the way, if you were to make a literal FGO card game, the better way would probably be to make it, there's already FGO Duel does involve hand cards in your hand and stuff. It would probably be better to do it as something of a resource management Magic style. Like, where you have a servant who does stuff, but also then you play around them with your various face cards, Buster Arts, whatever, and their skills and things. I think that would probably be the best way. I'd love for it to be a, living style, non-randomized card game, but they run a gacha game, so it won't, so... Yeah, I don't know. I think anyway, that would fit the ideal better, but that's a question for somebody else.
Yes. Anyway, thank you, Blaze. Next one comes from Spots and Fire. Hey, Omega and Lucky, thank you for a show as always. Since Voyager has opened the doors for objects associated with space to become servants due to their inherent mystery, what other space-themed servants would you like to see? If this is a banned question, I apologize and rescind my inquiry. You're fine.
We talked about this a lot when Voyager first dropped. I think we were both interested in some of the Mars rovers.
Yeah, Curiosity. Curiosity, Sojourner. I can't remember the rest of the names.
There were several, but a lot of them were were very much in the zeitgeist for a little bit there.
Like, honestly, like, on the same thing, I would like the Apollos, maybe? The moon rover? The moon landing?
Yeah.
That was big. It's not so much mystery, but still
historic. Well, actually, I would think the moon landing has a lot of mystery because there are some assholes who still insist it didn't happen, so...
That is true, and as has been proved with Shiki, sometimes urban legends can get enough. And it has been around since the 60s, so...
It's been around a while, yeah. That would be awkward considering Apollo, but they could figure out something. Mm-hmm. Could it be? It could be like Eagle, because that was the code name of the landers.
Mm-hmm.
They could figure out something. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That could also just be Neil Armstrong, because that was a manned mission too.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, Neil Armstrong is a servant because yes. I think in some
it should have been extra. He was mentioned in extra and then shown as a cameo in the extra anime.
Because didn't he get got by Suzuka though, if I remember correctly, or was that someone else?
In the anime, he gets he is the one that Shinji beats with Drake in the first round.
Oh, okay.
Which probably means that he could be a foreigner still, but he could also be a caster. Who knows? Or just a moon cancer. Also, who knows? Probably not an alter ego. Space telescopes could be interesting also. Hubble Space Telescope. We've seen some pretty sick shit with space telescopes.
Honestly, yeah. If the Hubble Space Telescope would be a servant, that'd be fucking awesome. It must have a ridiculous amount of lenses, more lenses than Holmes, and then one giant fucking lens, and it must have a cape of solar panels. Yes.
Yeah, I think our biggest problem is mostly that unfortunately, a lot of these are named after historical characters who could be servants in their own right. Like, there were the Galileo probes we sent to Jupiter. We named those because Galileo was the guy with the eyes on Jupiter. Mm-hmm, so we probably just have regular S Galileo. I'm pretty sure the Cassini probes or the Cassini mission was named after a guy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't see any reason why you just can't smash the fucking probes into a skill or something.
Yeah, or obviously you could do some work like that.
What was the Hubble telescope named after? Hang on.
Is it Edwin or Erwin Hubble? It's an E name.
Named after... By the way, we ran out of time, so... Oh, it's Edwin Hubble.
Edwin, that was right.
Okay, let's see here. Named is used the largest telescope of his day in the 1920s at the Mount Wilson Observatory near Pasadena, California to discover galaxy beyond our own. Yeah, make Edwin Hubble and just give him the
NP telescope.
Yeah. And just zoom in. Enhance!
Also fire laser beams.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. As I said, like, since time's run out, I can fucking take as much time on this question as I want. Fuck. Honestly, I've noticed we've used a lot of space objects. I'm trying to think of something maybe more earthbound.
There's probably some submissions that could be interesting.
Submissions? Maybe. I don't know. What would you think about, like, the Rosetta Stone? That's always been in fucking history. Do you think that could be a servant?
I don't know. The weird thing is, while the Rosetta Stone's very historically important, I don't know how much mystery it has, especially because the funny thing about the Rosetta Stone is that it's a really, really ordinary document. It was just like a fucking open letter from a governor to be like, hey, we are fulfilling our mission. We plan to, like, repair this temple or fund this building. We're just letting everybody know. The thing about it was that it was printed in 3 languages because it was, I believe, during the Ptolemaic period, which is just Ptolemaic. I say the P there just to make sure everybody knows. But during that Ptolemaic period, it was said just because that was when they were bilingual. Thanks, Alexander the Great. So it was printed in both Greek and Egyptian, and it had a line at the end of the Greek text that said, this message is repeated in Egyptian. So we were able to understand that it was a literal one-for-one translation between the 2 languages, which is why it's super important.
Mm.
But I don't actually know if it would have any mysterious powers. That would probably be a thing that, like, the guy who found it or translated it would have, because there's a lot of famous Egyptologists.
Like, the thing I'm thinking about, like, objects and whatnot, is usually the object is associated with a character, and the character becomes...
Yeah, the thing about Voyager is that he represents an autonomous probe, which is literally going somewhere nowhere humans have been. That's where, like, I think Mars rovers are a big one. Those things have gone to somewhere where no human has yet gone, and are still the first thing. But we also personify them. Everybody was really interested in Curiosity when it landed, and we've talked about Sojourner before. That rover was supposed to run for, I think it was a week.
Yeah, I think it was
and it ran for 3 months.
Yeah.
So there's lots of those little observations of these unmanned things. I think just the interesting thing is that we name a lot of these after people. Like even Sojourner's named after Sojourner Truth, but
yes,
that would, at least that you can say that would be the full name, Sojourner Truth, if she was a servant and not just the rover.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. It's an interesting topic. We've touched on it before, and probably will touch on it again.
Yeah. But again, unfortunately, we have run out of time. Oh, let's see, how many did we not get to?
It was a few. I don't know where we got lost in here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We didn't reach 7. I'm trying to figure out why. Like, this is why I said, okay, we're going to pause when we tangent so we can have actually more time on things.
Yeah, that means we did about 25, I think? 26, technically?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these were a little grammatically bad, or were very long run-ons.
Mm.
Not to throw shade, but that does take a little extra time when Lucky has to be like, all right, hold the line, I have to read this.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of those, but I think not more. I don't know. They're all good questions.
All right, but that is it for Mailbag. If we did not reach your question, I apologize. Again, Lucky does a bow.
At the very least, know that we have seen your question, even if we didn't read it out loud. However, we are at an hour 40, so
yes,
raw recording time. Obviously, somebody's gonna like. I don't want to see any comments that are like, "But you said that only at timecode an hour 20." That's because I probably edited 40 minutes of awkward silences and weird breathing noises. It happens. But all right, let us move to a different conversation in free talk. Yay, free talk.
Yay.
Okay, so this is New Servant Deets Summer 5 version, part derp. It's like part 2, but part derp. Let's do this again.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gonna start with Summer Abby, again. Starting with the big 5-star. SSR Foreigner, again, because what other class could she actually be? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. But she has less attack than her normal form, but more HP, but it's not to the extremes as Voyager. So Voyager has slightly more HP and slightly less attack. She has a quick Arts Buster deck, good hit count, so a Lancer-type deck, which is probably an improvement over her Emiya-style deck, where she had a Caster All-Arts deck, but then a Buster NP in her normal form. Learn some lessons.
I don't know, I'm always fine with it. Just let me charge
it works out sometimes, it just can be awkward, because that makes it hard to... That means you can't NP Buster Chain for extra damage, but you also can't, like, NP Arts Chain to regain.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little awkward whenever you're so hard on one card color and your NP is different. But like with Kiara, let's talk about her skills first. Especially that first one. So Sabby's first skill, that's Abby with an S in front, it does a normal thing first, which is still very good, and it removes the target's buffs. Their buffs, she takes them, she throws them away. Gets rid of them. But now, it also inflicts a new status, Sleep. If you want your technical information, Sleep is kind of like Pig, Bound, Petrify, etc. It's a special kind of stun, but it only goes away when the target is hit or the duration goes out. So if you hit a guy after you've stunned him, the stun immediately ends with Sleep. So you have to think about your timing, which is probably why meta heads don't like Summer Abby. It requires you to actually think about things, not face cards go brrr. That said, even if you do decide to pop that stun right away, this skill also inflicts a 30 to 50% defense down on the sleeping target for that initial hit. So it's pretty brutal.
By the way, Omega, I didn't see this. When does that sleep go away naturally?
It goes 2 turns. Sorry, I didn't jot that down. It has a max 2-turn duration, but will end when it's hit. So it's better than most normal stuns, because those usually only go 1 turn. But if you attack that enemy, it goes away. Which means if they are the only enemy left, you have to end it, basically, because there's no way to not attack.
Okay. By the way, Lucky's probably going to be a little bit more talky during this, because he actually looked up these skills and actually formulated thoughts.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting. So her second skill is just her Mass Terror skill, but it's slightly better. It's got the 10% 10 to 20% defense down for 3 turns, and now her stun chance goes up to 55%.
That's good.
So that's a little bit more robust. That's interesting. Does stuff.
Mhm.
And now her final skill is not very weird, but it kind of brings together this kit a little bit more. It boosts her debuff rate. I believe it's a flat 30% for 3 turns. It gives her a 30 to 50% battery. That's right. It's Abigail with a 50% battery. And also it gives a targeted enemy, I should say, not all enemies, a 20 to 30% buster resistance down for 3 turns. So right there with her skill kit, you are looking at, if these are all maxed out, you will get 70% defense down for 1 hit on 1 enemy and 30% buster down. And remember, buster down and defense down are separate, so they are multiplicative, not additive. That will be more than just 100% extra damage.
Mhm.
So the fact that she's got low attack doesn't look so bad. This is kind of the same thing that, what are other big units that do this? I think Shin Shi Wong is kind of like that. He has crazy, crazy good, self buffs for, like, crits and attack. MHXX's attack isn't bad, though there aren't any other 4-star foreigners to compare it to, but, she's such a generalist that with, like, a couple NP levels and her fully maxed out just 50% attack skill, things just die, right? This is kind of that, but in reverse. So this all flows into her Noble Phantasm. It is an AoE buster, which, yes, that means it is the weakest hitting, but it strips defensive buffs first, so a more limited version of Vanilla Abby. It doesn't strip all their buffs, but if they have a defense, it will get rid of it, which, by the way, this beats, what's the word I'm looking for? Solemn Defense, Perfect Defense, Castoria's new buff. That's a defensive buff that goes away. Gets rid of it, throws it out. And then it slaps another 20% defense down on them, more with OC for 3 turns on the target. We just keep that defense down going. For her passives, she has Existence EX, so stars per turn and debuff resist increased. Insanity B+, and Divinity B+ for bonus damage. Insanity is like Madness Enhancement, but with less lore. Basically. So yeah, a lot of people are saying that she is the weak link here.
No.
I gotta say, for anybody who thinks that she's outright bad, just do some math here, guys. Add up all those numbers. That's a fuck ton of defense down. Which basically
actually,
translates into literal attack up.
Well, honestly, my first thought with her is, if you use her, what you should do is you just immediately follow up with a single target buster.
Oh, yes, almost assuredly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No servant exists in a vacuum. Summer Abigail is absolutely a support hitter for somebody who is a boss killer. She is meant to support herself, basically. Like,
you basically fire off Summer Abby on those waves that have 2 mobs and a boss.
Yes, those mobs will die. And if the boss popped a hard defense or something, it's gone. It's stripped. And then you're stacking so much defense down on them. Now, obviously, you gotta watch out because of the way the sleep thing works, but still, like, you can get a lot of defense down, a lot of resist on them, and you will punch pretty hard. That's pretty typical. Like, a lot of people think, oh, Scheherazade has no attack power. If you actually use her with her buffs, I have the same experience too with Summer Jean. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, Summer Jean can't do any damage. No, she can. You just have to tactically apply buffs. I have done a lot of damage with Summer Jean with tactically applied buffs. So it's the same with Summer Abby. Like I said, though, the thing is, she's not going to be popular with meta heads because she requires you to stop what you're doing and think. You have to properly plan out who you're attacking. You have to properly pick who you're stunning with sleep and, like, time it all out. It's not just pop all her skills and go. Then you're going to accidentally de-stun yourself and, like, be like, oh, well, I did less damage than I thought because I fucked up my timing. That said, again, this girl, this small child of Summer, in addition to having very interesting ascensions, and a great NP, Dreamlands is fucking phenomenal. Super cool. She has 2 forms of buff removal. We've talked about how great, like, Jack is, for instance, with that free get rid of buffs. Your buffs, give them to me. Amakusa and Vanilla Abigail are well known for their remove buff on NP. Well, hey, now you have an Amakusa, because she has a similar problem with him because she's low attack and an AoE buster, so she cannot kill hands with neutral damage without some kind of damage steroid. But hey, guess what? She does super damage to berserkers and doesn't take damage back.
Like, honestly, when I roll this child, I am literally going to put her in front of my regular Abigail, and they're going to go to fucking town.
Yeah, no, they combo very well together. Also, yes, Robin brought it up. 50% batteries, great. That means you can put Golden Sumo on this child. which is great. You can remember, buffs are important. You can do a lot. Like, yeah, I'm not going to claim that she's going to be a boss killer. She is an AoE buster. That's just not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But she will do more damage than you think with these debuffs, and is a perfect lead-in. Another good example is Vanilla Altera. I know she's not very meta, but she has an AoE buster with a defense down on her NP. Whenever I'm using Altera, whether it's just because I need another AoE Saber or she's a bonus servant, I always let her go first, because defense down. Lower the enemy's defenses, swing in. So yeah, she has utility, I just think it's gonna be weird, and no, nobody actually knows what anti-chestnut is. That's what the Google Translate for the app media tier list is she's apparently an anti-chestnut unit, but I don't know what that is. Some people have said that it's an abbreviation for what the Japanese word for critical is, but I'm thinking, is Summer Abigail an anti-critical unit? I don't think so. She doesn't have any crit down. I mean, I know she can stun guys, but aerial drive can be another one. Get that buster up. Or Halloween Princess, just pure NP damage. Get that NP damage up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of spicy things you can do.
I see.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of weird comps and stun locks and defense down combos with Summer Abby, but it's going to be very reliant on what she's good at. A lot of extra classes are made or broken by what they get class advantage against. Like, hey, Alter Ego, super cool, great for farming cavalry. You ever had to fight a Knight's Node? You just don't. You're just like, it's not worth it. This sucks. I'm taking my melt and I'm going home. So Abby's going to be the same. You're not going to use her to farm hands, because most of those aren't berserkers. But God forbid you ever have to fight waves of berserkers or a foreigner boss, you're going to be like, this unit will actually help me. Also, this means it's just in time for there to be like shitloads of foreigner mobs in like Lost Belt 6 or something.
Oh no.
Who knows? The game always does weird stuff like this where they're like, this unit's fucking useless. And then, somewhere between a month and 6 months later, you're like, shit, fuck.
And this is why meta lists, tier lists change fucking constantly.
Yeah, that's why app media is always changing. Which is, we make jokes about them, but at least I will give them that they understand that this is the metagame is a constantly fluctuating thing, and they try to make their lists relevant to new content. I just think that makes them dumb sometimes. And I still don't know what anti-chestnut is. Lucky, do you have any more piece to say about Summer Abigail?
No, well, I think I mentioned it earlier, like, speaking about her art, like, I was very surprised that her first ascension is her just being angry, skimpy child, and then she just gets progressively more wholesome, including cats.
Honestly, I think even her first, in a way, has... they do a very interesting comparison with her ascensions in her profile, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about her 3 ascensions. They talk about Summer Abigail as if she were 3 sisters, so they do some kind of triplicate stuff. That's pretty fun. The spookiest one, the first ascension, is like the eldest sister, so she's... So that first ascension, Abigail, is the most mature and magnanimous one, interestingly enough, which kind of benefits her as the spooky one. The middle Abigail, the Pope Hat one, is the one that's said to be most like the historical Abigail Williams would have been. She is the most studious and dutiful and faithful, hence Pope Hat. Her final ascension is the most childlike. She is just here to have fun in summer, so she is the most adorable. But they do a lot of interesting things. Well, speaking of interesting things, let's move on to Saber Tomoe as another interesting gimmick. So, she is our new SR Saber in VR, not actually in VR. So she's got median attack, very good HP. Like, she has quite high HP considering that she's, I think, like 5 or 6 servants up in the attack list for sabers. She has a typical saber deck, quick arts, buster. So her hit counts don't suck, but her NP gain is a little bit low. I think it's the curse of having an arts NP. Like, she's got 3 hits arts cards, but her NP gain is only 0.55, which is a little bit low for that number.
Might need to see what's an NP gain on it.
Well, also, don't you worry. You'll understand why. I think it's an attempt to balance, because we're going to talk about some of the stuff she does. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, speaking of that NP curse, AoE Arts NP, which first buffs her arts and buster performance for the rest of the turn, and then slaps them with 1k burn, and then does Spreading Fire. The default is plus 100% burn damage, so that's actually 2k burn for 5 turns. Standard Tomoe burn meme stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually AoE, though, so you can do some fun stuff. Immediate has combo potential with Consort Yang Guffei, who is also burn memes. So her first skill gives her 3 turns of 1k to 3k guts. It gives her 50 to 100% crit up for 3 turns, but then gives her a delayed buff which will stun her after 3 turns go by. I think this is something like Midsummer's Night or something. It's Tomoe stays up all night playing video games. That's what it is. That's why she gets stunned at the end. She literally goes for 3 turns of no sleep and then has to take a nap. But because it's got that effect, that means that she's got a pretty good crit up for those 3 turns. Double crit damage for 3 turns. Pretty potent. How is she going to get those crits, you ask? Second skill, 20 to 30% arts for 1 turn, and also increases her star absorbent arts cards for 1 turn, which combined with 100% crit damage up is probably why her NP gain is lowered, because she's going to have some crazy good arts crit turns.
Oh, yeah.
To complement this, you're like, okay, but she's only got 1 quick card. How is she going to generate stars? Third skill. It gives her 15 to 25 stars immediately, instantly, and then 5 to 10 stars per turn for 3 turns. It also makes her debuff immune 1 time for 5 turns. See how this works, kids?
Her kit flows really stupid well.
Yes, no, once you've got her at max ascension, you can just pop all of these in rapid succession and be like, okay, so she's going to have big crits, she's going to have stars, and she's going to have arts effectiveness. And also, assuming the enemy doesn't debuff you, her debuff immune will prevent her from being stunned. It doesn't prevent the buff that gives you because it's counted as a buff, it doesn't prevent the timer, but it will prevent the stun.
Mm-hmm.
And then her passives are just magic resistance A, to give her passive debuff resistance, and writing B, so that quick is pretty decent. It's 4 hits too, so it's pretty good up there. A quality arts crit unit. A lot of people are already calling her AoE Saberlot.
Well, to be fair, we don't have a lot of Saber arts AoE. Fuck, I'm trying to think one off the top of my head, and I can't. Well,
yeah, I gotta look at the list.
Hang on, we got Saber Shiki, but she's 1 hit.
Yes, and she is an SSR who is super limited. She's more about weird, instant death memes.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the list. Dioscuri, your single target, is Welfare Hokusai, Saber Hokusai, AoE or single target. Single enemy, no, single target. We got a lot of arts single target. Prince of Landling is support. There's no damage on that. Maybe single target, isn't she?
I know Bride is single target.
Bride is single target. Yeah, Nero's the I think the one big one, 4-star AoE arts. Yeah, that's it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Because Daeon and Landling are supports.
Oh, but Nero is 1 hit on her AoE? Oof.
Yeah, Nero doesn't spam. Nero's trick is that you can't ever kill her, because she's got triple guts.
Yeah, so I think this is our first multi-hit AoE Saber with stupid good crit potential and enough buffs that, I don't know,
hold on. Jason is AoE, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, significant damage to all enemies. Now, admittedly, Jason is a 1-star, so there's other limitations. He's got some interesting stuff, and he's mostly for wombo combo potential, but he is technically a cheap AoE arts, but it's good that we're still growing. Benny Enma's single target. There's a lot of single target arts. There's only a couple of AoE. And even then, let me actually look at Jason's hit counts. They're probably not super high because he has an arts buff on his NP. 5? It's decent.
I know, he basically every Argonaut comes in and does a whack, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see the problem. Jason's NP gain is 0.37.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, because he's got a Saber deck and he has 4-hit arts cards and a 5-hit NP, so yeah, his NP gain tanks even harder than Tomoe's does. So yeah. No, Tomoe has a very clearly defined strat. It's do arts crits. You will be able to do her NP probably a couple of times, and if anybody lives through that, they're going to be taking shitloads of burn damage for 5 turns.
Honestly, right now, from what it looks like, you want basically NP arts.
Yeah, you want to, because her arts buff is that 1 turn. But hey, guess what? You could also do NP Buster because her NP also buffs her Buster cards. So you could also, it gives her flexibility. She can pinch hit. You could throw her in with Merlin, for instance. Or you could go absolutely apeshit and, like we said, do the Tamamo Cast Artoria Wombo combo and just be like, hello, I am going to hit you with my NP many times. Guess what? Phase cards are single target anyway, bitch. But you also wouldn't go wrong with a Merlin in there.
Yeah, no.
Especially because her HP is pretty good already.
Yeah, no, she fits in real nice with both arts and Buster, which sometimes can be a hit or miss situation.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work, but she uses the Saber deck very well, and yeah, she's a good crits unit with an arts focus on top. If you are critting, you will make up for her slightly lowered NP gain. It's a fun one. I'm super looking forward to this, but that's because I love arts, and I have regular Saberlot, so I can't wait to do a pinch hitter and then have no arts support caster to slot in between them. I cry.
Yeah, Lucky.
That's where I should actually. The way that we phrase that is that's the spot in between the two of them. That's where Lucky's grilled Tomoe goes. Because Lucky is locked in my friends list and usually pops to the top. Just slot that right in there. And also, I know that Lucky will actually have Tomoe on his support list.
Yes, I will.
Unlike all those Fairweather Scotties. Actually, by the way, other than there's no quick units in this setup. I know Summer Abby has 2 quick cards, but that's not her focus.
No, I think it's been all Buster and Arts MPs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Ilya's the only one in number 1, which is quick focused, and she does that pretty good. But we're mostly hitting up on Buster and Arts. Kiara's got a lot of weird Arts NP memes. Like she does crazy high NP damage.
Oh no, if we're talking crazy Arts strats, no, Murasaki is the one that makes me go, what?
Okay, well, let's talk about Summer Murasaki. Once again, rocking Raita's Let's Wildly Change Fashion Styles Between Ascensions style.
Oh my god. Like, you all seen the thumbnail, so you see Murasaki's third, but if you haven't, go look at Murasaki's second. Just look at it.
So chuny. Oh my god. She's wearing her glasses with the fucking eye patch, and she has a crutch for no reason. Oh, it's great. She probably hits people with it too.
Oh, I
haven't seen her. I haven't seen her animations in all Ascensions yet. I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't seen too much of her second Ascension art. But the first and third are very popular.
Very popular. For reasons.
For reasons you can see in the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Right to power.
Thighs thicker than her waist.
Yes. But yeah, so in addition to her brilliant artistic stylings, let's talk about her stats. Her HP is pretty high. It's tied with Ryoma, who I think is like number 2 or 3 in SR Riders. Which, by the way, I didn't mention it earlier. Summer Murasaki is actually an SR Rider. She rides jet skis or a giant ink spider. Your choice. Spooky spider. Yeah, I don't know why. There's some. I don't know if I've seen her profile translated yet. I'm wondering where some of these Black Widow themes come from. But I know she is a widow. But I thought she was a grieving widow. Though I don't know. Tale of Genji has some weird relationships with people dying and stuff too. So that's her normal NP, by the way. Is she recites one of the sad poems from the Tale of Genji, which is like a curse. It's so sad you die. Artists are fun, guys. So let's talk about her HP. Her attack is low, but not as low as Ryoma's. Because Ryoma is the high attack, or high HP, low attack style welfare. She has quick arts buster deck. So this is a pretty good style for archers or riders. Higher hit counts. Her NP design, it's pure art stall strats. It is a single target arts that has a 60% chance, flat, to lower the enemy charge. And gives them 20% arts resistance down for 3 turns. More with overcharge. I think her cap is like... Is it like 40 or 50%? Let me check. Yeah. But, yeah, no, it's purely knowing... Cap's at 40. So it's purely knowing that you are going to slap somebody with this NP multiple times. And give them that spicy chance for charge down. Mm-hmm. I prefer charge downs to be guaranteed, but a chance isn't bad too, especially if you mix it in with other stuff. Which is good, because her first skill is a 50% to 100% chance to NP seal for 1 turn, and a 20 to 30% defense down for 3 turns.
It begins.
Yeah, her second skill reduces the enemy's debuff resistance by 50 to 100%. And it seals their skills for 1 turn, and has more arts resistance down, 20 to 30% again for 1 turn. And then her final skill is 10 to 20% NP gain per turn for 3 turns, and dumps 10 to 20 stars. So it's just a little bit of a battery cycler. Keeps her NP charging so you don't miss the timing. You know, maybe helps you loop. And then gives you a decent infusion of stars to crit. Or for other people to crit. She is a rider, though, so she will probably crit.
She'll suck them up.
But, it's got some stuff in there. Her passive is just riding B+. That's pretty good with her 2 quick cards. Not as flashy as other units on this list, but a very comprehensive stall kit. Hi, hello, I'm Summer Murasaki. I would like you to not shoot your NP and not use your skills, and also have no defense and no debuff resist. Please die. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you say like stall, but like honestly, I'd probably put her in the shooting category of debuffer and just make people have a
Yeah, I was actually a term I thought of for Summer Abby, which is more of a Buster variation of this, but I think Summer Murasaki also finds it. She's if you'll forgive the possible misinterpretations, she's a grinder type unit. You are just going to chisel that man down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she's just going to keep stacking arts resistance and defense down on them, Gonna stop them from firing their NP or skills, so the enemy doesn't get to do anything, and they just die over time. Death of 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, no, works, like, honestly works probably pretty well with Saber Tomoe, just generating a lot of defense down and crits.
Which is good, because Saber Tomoe has an AoE NP normally, but if you lower the enemy's defense enough, your AoE will hit like a single target, and Tomoe does have a buff to increase her star absorption, and both of them have very fat star generators. They can generate over, or rather, a total of 45 stars. That's pretty close to the max. I think 50 is the cap.
Yep.
Yeah, so they will wombo combo very well together, which is probably somehow intentional, because some are married ladies. Themes. Also glasses. Though Saber Tomoe doesn't have glasses, she just has her VR headset.
It's a headpiece thing. It counts.
And there's a lot of face stuff. It's all hats and glasses. I think Ilya has several weird headpieces. But yeah, so, again, not flashy, not a lot of new stuff in there, but oh man, wow, it does a lot of stuff.
Like, again, I'm talking about it, Summer usually does, like, interesting stuff. Like, and even though it's like, that's the way you can just apply it is just like, Like, how many single target arts do we have? We have Roma, who was the big one.
Yeah, Ryoma's a good one. He's a welfare, but you may have missed him. So that can happen. Let me look at arts writers.
Yeah, single target.
Odysseus is AoE, I believe. A big one new is Mandricardo. He is a permanent 3-star, and he has a single target arts. However, he decreases his own attack with his thing, so he's hard to spam. And I believe one of his skills, he explodes. Yes, one of his skills turns him into into kind of a pocket of rash. He gets a huge attack and crit damage buff for one turn if his HP is low, and removes their defensive buffs. But he will die after attacking that turn if it activates.
Don't die!
But yeah, he has some potential, especially as a 3-star. But he's still got some stuff in there. Yes, Trojan Horse is AoE. Da Vinci Rider is AoE. Mordred is AoE. Oh yeah, no, that's it. Shit. Yeah. We don't got a lot of single target arts writers. Your big one, other than the free to play Ryoma up until this point, has been George, who isn't bad, but is not necessarily who I would think of as a mainline attacker. Boy's a tank.
He's the tank priest.
Yeah, so because Sima Yi Renez is a support, and like I said, Da Vinci and Odysseus are both AoE. And Europa's a buster technically, though she does have the same hybrid kind of deck. Like she also does some arch stuff. So you wouldn't be remiss to run a Europa with your Murasaki too, because she's got an AoE buster to punch waves of ads. But yeah, there's not necessarily a lot of super arts focus in writers. Writers are definitely more known for buster or quick.
Man, it's like maybe with the new arts, maybe they're putting more love into arts all of a sudden.
Yeah. Let's see. There's only one writer with a caster deck. It's Martha. Rip. Who has a buster NP, so she has an Emiya deck. That's a little rough because Martha's not known as a heavy hitter, so she can't really capitalize on that buster NP turn.
This is why she has like 3 fucking rank ups.
This is literally why she has 3 rank ups. It's because they turned her into a utility kit. Though speaking of Abigail style stuff, Martha's definitely another servant like that. You let her NP go first. Tadask. There's a lot of Saber decks, arts and buster. There's a decent amount of quicken arts. Does anybody have triple? Oh, ooh, it's the Stolf that has triple quick. There's only one Lancer style deck though. By the way, when we refer to Lancer style, it's the typical deck we've seen with Lancers. That's the quick and buster, which is why their NP gain is usually huge. It's good old Golden Boy. It's Kentucky.
Huh.
He's quick arts buster with a quick NP.
It works real well.
So yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking on it, that makes it even weirder that there aren't more arts-focused writers, because there are a lot of writers who have 2 arts cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so altogether, it's a pretty interesting batch. I know some people have said, like we talked about earlier, other people have said that apparently this is the weakest lineup. I don't think so. I do think that maybe our 2 experimental skills are not as weird as the other. Like, okay, it's not Faceless Moon. But that's because Faceless Moon is really... It breaks a fundamental game rule, and it's really weird. It's not Summer Artoria Ruler Shuffle. That's a really weird ability that's only available on a Mystic Code. Sleep is just a new debuff. And Kiara's skill rank up is cool, but it only applies to her, right? It only makes Kiara better.
How Kiara-like.
Yeah, no, it's perfect for her, especially because the whole point of her skill increases is to slap more debuffs on enemies and make it so her NP slaps harder. Very Kiara-like. Because she's the mermaid now, guys. She is the summer focus. But
I'm really karate chopping her in the head.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting ideas in here and a lot of solid units. Honestly, unit-wise, all of these are pretty good.
Yeah, no.
I just don't think that they're quite as crazy as other years, maybe. Like, Bryn's pretty vanilla, but if I get her on like a takeout or something while I'm rolling for CEs, am I gonna laugh at an AoE Buster Berserker with a Pierce Invul? No.
Like, people have this weird thing that they think vanilla is bad. I'm just like, no. Vanilla just means it's steady.
Yes, and it really depends on the type of vanilla. Like, yeah, we talked about this with Murasaki and with Tomoe. They don't really do anything different, but that doesn't mean that those things aren't good. Think of, like, I talked about how she's kind of like an AoE Saberlot, right? Mm-hmm. People love that guy. He's cool. He's called a Pocket SSR. Having a unit that does similar things, but maybe with an AoE and dot focus, that's good. That gives you more units. Yeah. Same with Summer Murasaki. Hey, we've just discovered there aren't a lot of comprehensive arts strategy writers. Well, it's good that we have one. She does the arts things. Hi, your defense, I'm going to keep hitting you with my NP, and it's going to suck more every time for you. I'm going to keep killing you with this giant dust mote spider. I can't wait for that to be translated so I understand what the fuck that's in reference to.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if it's in reference to one of the many, many spider-based myths. Japan's got a lot of stuff about spiders. But speaking of magic and mystery and stuff, if we don't have any further comments about these new summer units, I think it's time for Teach Me Omega Sensei. We're only 2 hours and 13 minutes in.
Before that, how about a break?
Yeah, let's take an intermission. I'm going to talk for a long time. We'll take a fiver. If you're in the audience at home, take a break now. All right, we're back. I immediately have to, clear my nose. Okay. I'm taking a deep breath because I got to talk a lot because it is time. It is the last Friday of the month. We've got a few more days left, but it's the last Friday. So, it's time for Teach Me Omega Sensei. And you people voted on what is Magecraft / Thaumaturgy. And boy howdy, I'm here to tell you. I was actually quite shocked. There's actually a lot of really decent definition for it. Like there's a decent amount of, you can tell where Nasu's nerdisms go. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Like, there is a decent amount of effort put into explaining the technical definition and areas of the magic system. There's still some limits on what it defines. Like, we're gonna cross-reference some things, and actually, there's some stuff that I can't even get into yet, because it's like, it would take me extra time. Like, spoilers, I'm gonna reference, magic circuits or magic crests a couple times. I wanted to maybe do that as part of this, but I can't. It's literally already like 3.5 pages long. So that'll have to be a future one. Actually exploring that aspect of the mechanics. But that's okay. That gives me more shit to talk about. So, Magecraft. Let us begin. Everybody, put on your nerd glasses and settle in. Yes, you may take notes. There's actually a short answer to this at the high level. I know, I'm shocked. But, the quickest way to define Magecraft is the process to artificially reenact mystery, to bring about a result, so whatever result you want, by the means of the supernatural, not science. So basically, if you do anything that mimics a mystery, or that causes a result through supernatural means, Magecraft. So the goal of Magecraft is to make the impossible possible. If something can't be done, even with Magecraft, research and development is done in order to make it so. Ultimately, Magecraft evolves into more complex and new forms in order to meet the goal of reaching the level of the true magic. So, the point of Magecraft is to do something supernaturally, and eventually to get so good as to become indistinguishable from magic. Which is actually a point that's been noted down. High-level mages, their thaumaturgy is so good, it's basically like a true magic, one of the capital M true magics. Even if it is not technically by literal definition, the function is basically the same, which is really interesting. However, in all caps, the point where we cut off between modern Magecraft and historical Magecraft, which borders on true magic, is that the process of Magecraft is a miracle, quote-unquote. It's something miraculous. It can't be explained. It just happens. The result of Magecraft is not. The process is miraculous. The result isn't. Either you are replicating a mundane effect, i.e. you use magic to make a fire. You could do that with science, but how you're doing it is magical. Or you're replicating a pre-existing mystery. You are copying a mystery you heard about already, or that somebody already defined for you. There's a lot of predefinition with magic.
So basically, you're never making new mystery or anything like that.
Yes, I believe that is in a bullet point later. Yeah, it's the next one. You can only replicate pre-existing phenomena. You cannot make new mystery with it. That's the realm of true magic.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back to that. By the way, this is also probably where the term thaumaturgy comes from. That is usually translated into English as wonder working or miracle working. It's the act of working a miracle. The end result isn't a miracle, but you're still doing something miraculous when you do magic. Good job.
Good job.
So, what is the realm of Magecraft has changed over time? So, things that were previously the domain of capital M magic have become possible through science. So, you can do a lot of things through science that you could only do with literal magic before, which changes what people think is mysterious. Flying's not mysterious. You can fly all the time. Get in a plane. Maybe you don't want to fly now, but you can do it. Sure, personal flight, probably a little more mysterious, but even then, that's more a sci-fi thing. Fucking jetpacks, am I right?
Whoosh. Supers.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, that's probably enough where you could probably still do a Magecraft that makes you float or fly, but it's definitely no longer as mystical as it once was. I think Gilgamesh literally has flying machines in his treasury, because humans have always wanted to fly, just that, guess what? Now you just can buy a jet. I know obviously most people can't buy jets, but it's possible. You can buy a plane ticket at least. This is where I noted that thing I said to Erlucky before. You cannot make new mystery, you can only replicate a pre-existing phenomena. Now, yes, that doesn't necessarily contradict itself. Some of these things will seem contradictory, but they're not. You do research with magic in order to find ways to do new stuff with Magecraft. Even then, the result is still not something new. You don't go to yourself and be like, I want to create a hitherto unseen mystery. Usually what you do is you discover a mystery or a practical application and go, how do I do that with Magecraft? So you solve for X, but you don't come up with a new X, basically.
So basically what I'm understanding is you're trying to figure out new ways to do old things.
Yeah, basically. Modern Magecraft is literally trying to actually, I have a definition. That's my next bullet point. Magic and science are basically opposites in Nasuverse definitions. Magecraft governs the skills of past humans that science cannot explain. So yeah, just like you said, Lucky, Magecraft is the study that relates to things that have happened in the past or that people did in the past that you can't explain with science. Whereas science gathers the technology of future humanity that sorcery cannot reach. So it is the new things we gather up and learn over time that sorcery can't do anymore.
So basically parallel paths. Okay.
Because they are both similar in that they have a goal that is the same. They want to protect the future of humanity and continue our human prosperity. So, honestly, Magecraft's not as selfish as you think it is.
Well, Magecraft itself,
yes.
maybe the people protecting.
We have a bullet point about why mages may be assholes later, but we'll get there. I got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. But yeah, fundamentally, the study of Magecraft is like a science. It's just you're studying things that are inherently faith-based or mysterious. The how and why we're in this situation now has to do with basically the transition from the Age of Gods to the Age of Man. We've covered that before. That's a previous Teach Me. We got a playlist. Check it out.
Thanks, Gil.
But basically, the best way to think of this is in the Age of Gods, Magecraft was basically magic. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted immediately, miraculously, because mages draw their magic directly from the root, and they lived alongside their cosmological principles. Their understanding of the cosmos, gods, magic, that was all just part of their world. It was just part of Earth. Now we're in the Age of Man, you have to seek cosmological truth. We don't know we're not living with the cosmological truth anymore. We don't know the secrets of the universe, we're trying to find them. So that's why Magecraft is different.
Sounds almost like an Ouroboros situation.
Yeah, kind of. They're very related. It's very interesting to see these parallels. Again, like I said, you can tell where Nasu's big brain nerd thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to talk about some basic shit.
Basic.
The most easiest way to explain the process of Magecraft, of doing a Magecraft, as they say, they don't actually say that, that's a joke, is you will convert magical energy inside your body to transform the external world. Okay? There's magic in you, you do stuff with the magic in you, stuff happens outside you. That's a basic of shitloads of magical systems. That's a basic of my fucking magic system. That's how Mages of War works.
Yeah.
But that's how Magecraft and Nasu works. It's functional magic. You do the thing, energy goes out, does stuff. How one does this is based on various qualities, both of the mage themselves, we'll touch on a couple of those later, and to their thaumaturgical theory. That was both with capital T's, by the way. The short version of that is that the thaumaturgical theory is basically your school of Magecraft. We're going to circle back to that. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of theory crafting and stuff. All you need to know right now is that the thaumaturgical school, the thaumaturgical theory, informs about how one goes about performing your Magecraft. It's a set of rules that the school has programmed, and the energy is then issued through your magic circuits to enforce the program, creating the expected results. I don't know if this is said exactly in here somewhere, but Nasuverse is actually a system where Magic A is Magic A. A spell, a predefined magical effect, always does the same thing. How you do that thing can depend on the caster. But if you are a student of a certain school of Magecraft, the effects that you do will be the same every time if you've learned that spell. Say you're a healing Magecraft, you understand healing magic, and you want to cast a spell to fix a cut. The effect is the same every time. No matter what you do, your spell will fix a cut. And honestly, probably, because they talk about this, right, like theological or thaumaturgical research and development, which can be theological. Some spellcasting is religious. You would probably want generalized principles. For instance, you would pre-program and then run the program of fix all injuries this guy has, right? Like, you would try and make your concept broad. This isn't actually in my notes, but the stuff I read discusses that the person who wins a magical duel, a fight between two high-level mages, isn't the guy who has the more powerful school of Magecraft, it's the guy who has the most efficient and least layered school of Magecraft. I.e., who can do his shit faster.
Quick draw.
Yeah, if you can summon a meteor, but you have to dance naked for 24 hours to do it, the guy who can just point his gun at you and go, Gunder, wins.
Gunder?
Gunder. Which is like a gun.
It is. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking about Harry Dresden again.
Gun. Well, we'll talk a little bit about defining new schools of Magecraft and what goes into that. It's actually a little bit of a complex process, but we'll come there. We got to lay some foundation first. We got to talk in generals. So, this is also, by the way, I've talked about why I've said that to Nasuverse, Magecraft is a lot like computer programming. Mm-hmm. You have set up the rules of the program, and then what you do when you cast a spell is you're just running that program. You understand that if you do the effects, you make sword. And then when Shiro says trace on, that's basically his version of run sword EXE.
I also like how, even though Nasu is like, yeah, these are the rules for magic, but then he turns around and is like, okay, but true magic, just throw all that shit out. Just throw it all out.
He establishes that the way mystery works is there's always a level that is beyond understanding. Even Magecraft has some elements which have to be mysterious. How you do magic is still a mystery. It's still something that's like, this is fucking unexplainable. But you can explain where you start and where you end. The middle part has to be mysterious, otherwise it doesn't work. But still, very interesting. So, the common process of doing magic stuff is spellcasting. This is mostly self-suggestion and mental preparation. This is where the mage says an incantation or does ritual aspects to basically execute the command which drives the program that is their Magecraft.
Sword EXE.
Yeah, Sword EXE. This is the way for the individual mages to be most efficient at summoning and controlling their power. When you spellcast, you're speaking to yourself. This is actually an important point. When you hear somebody doing a chant for a magic, they're talking to themselves. They are basically trying to convince themselves to put themselves in the right mindset to do the spell. That's why mages usually have personalized chants. Like, only Emiyashiro says trace on, because that is what he knows to activate his powers. When you spellcast speaking to the world, that is known as a grand ritual. I leaned a little too close to my microphone for that. But yes, grand ritual with capital letters. Usually a single individual doesn't perform that. You need to get a group together to do a grand ritual or grand spellcasting. But yeah, it is possible to talk to the world, but normally you don't do that when you do basic bitch magic. Thaumaturgy also has one more constant rule. It's the capital E's. Everybody, you've heard it before. Equivalent exchange. To create something of equal value must be lost. It's just that. It's the same thing you've always heard. Even Magecraft bows before Einstein. E equals MC squared, guys. To create, you must use up something of equal value, whether that's material components or just the magical energy needed for a casting. You do not create a fire from nowhere. You can expend magical energy to make fire. This even applies to spells like when Shiro does reinforcement, he is using the physical body of a thing. Now, while he has different spellcasting to make a sword out of nothing, if he takes a stick and turns it into a sword, he needs to have a stick. he has to do a different spell entirely in order to do that other thing, which takes energy.
If I remember correctly, isn't it Shiro as though he's literally just pulling a sword from,
Yes, Shiro gets to do a lot of cheating because his ability is drawn from his reality marble, which we've talked about in a separate aspect.
Yeah.
But he gets to cut a lot of corners, and we'll even talk about stuff, we talked about his origin earlier.
Yeah.
There's some corner cutting there too. But yeah, basically, Shiro has a lot of it easier to do this really complex stuff because he has one weird trick to his magic. On the other hand, it also means that he is actually a really shitty mage and can't do a lot of different types of magecraft.
Something, this is the only magic allowed to Emiya Shiro.
Yeah. So, we talked about why mages are kind of assholes. Here's another general rule of magecraft which kind of explains that. Basically, all mages draw power from the root as a power source, but the amount of the energy that the root allows for magecraft is currently fixed. The root only puts out so much juice you can use. This means the more people there are trying to attempt magecraft overall, the lower quality of magecraft. So basically, the more people overall who are doing magic, the shittier magic is. This is why it's a bad idea that everybody learns about magic, because if everybody tries to do magic, there will be no more magic.
Oh.
You will die.
There's a hard cap, okay.
Yeah, there's a hard cap on the amount of energy. Basically, think of it just like Magic the Gathering. You're only generating so much mana per turn, and the root has played all their lands. You can't get more. But here's a interesting corollary, because I talked about how this is all full of parallels. The wider spread a system of thaumaturgy is, i.e. the more people understand a practice and believe in it, the more efficient it is and the more mystery it has. The more people who believe that your system of magic is the correct one, the more concrete it is. Obscure and regional schools of magic might not even work outside of their homeland.
So is this going back to walking along, like, cosmological truths and whatnot?
Yes.
Okay.
And also probably has to do a lot with ley lines. There are some schools of magic that if you are not in the place where that school of magic was defined, it doesn't work. We'll talk about that a little bit later with thaumaturgical foundations. The exception to this is personalized magic, i.e. something that has been taught via an apprenticeship or inherited as part of a bloodline. That's intrinsic to the people who have learned it or inherited it. It's not region-locked. We'll actually double back to that. I have some theories as to why that is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But these are your high levels. Magic requires energy, equivalent exchange. You have to do a spell cast. You have to do a program, basically. But the more mysterious your school of magecraft is, the more concrete it is, and the more widespread it is. So, it's weird. You can't have everybody know magic, but the more people know your style of magic, the better defined it is. Which is probably why mages have an association, but also do a masquerade. Right? They're trying to make the mages they have better at magic, but not necessarily make more mages. It's funny. So, those are your basics. Let's talk about some advanced concepts you've probably heard of, or may have heard like a weird random translation of. There's a lot of big capital terms in here, and there's a lot of translation going on. So we mentioned thaumaturgical theory before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your school of magecraft. Well, that's based on a thaumaturgical foundation. The foundation is the origin of a school of magecraft. It is usually called a greater magical formula. Again, funny how there's so much formula and algorithm and programming talk. But basically, this is the spiritual or academic basis of that school of magic. Basically, when you create a new school of magecraft, you engrave its rules into the world. If people understand your rules and believe in them, the style of magecraft will work based on that thaumaturgical theory. If you grow distant from your foundation, either physically or by practice, the magecraft becomes weaker. That's that point we just talked about. So, if your thaumaturgical foundation is established in a place, if you physically engrave those rules into a place and you leave that place, your magic is fucked. There's actually a mage family who has this problem. I think they're minor characters, but they used to live in Siberia, but they fled due to witch hunts, and their power base is fucked because all of their magic was based in the place they came from. But again, this rule doesn't apply to oral traditions or bloodlines. I think the best way to explain this one is that in the case of something you inherit from your clan or that it's passed down to you via oral tradition, the rules are engraved into you, the practitioner, not the world. So long as you understand and meet the criteria to use that school of magecraft, you can do so regardless of any physical or spiritual distance from the foundation. And, most importantly, the foundation is heavily based on the concept of mystery. Remember, if something could exist, the world allows it to exist. So, basically making a thaumaturgical foundation means introducing something which might work, and then cultivating faith in it. If something is completely unknown, or if it's scientifically provable, completely known, mystery fails. Actually, this is a quality I don't think we've brought up, but if something is so mysterious as to be absolutely unknown, to be unconceivable, it doesn't work. people have to recognize that something could happen, but cannot definitively prove or disprove it.
Well, that's what a mystery is.
Exactly, right? You have to know that, but that's an interesting quality. If you make up a mage school and only you know about it, your Magecraft's gonna suck. Because nobody else understands. Nobody but you thinks that it's a mystery. However, if you can get a lot of people to believe in it, to try your school of Magecraft and understand it, it actually works. Volumen is a mystic code. So it's a physical thing that has magic engraved in it. I don't think we touch on it super deep yet. We may have talked about mystic codes before, actually. But I didn't really double down on that. But basically, yeah, a mystic code is an object that basically has the spellcraft in it. Either it's got magic circuits in it, or it's got aspects to the thaumaturgical theory. But let's actually talk about some common thaumaturgical theories, the basic schools of magic you might see throughout the Nasuverse, which are based on various principles. I've got a big long list here, just like Mystic Eyes and shit. So, alchemy is the study and manipulation of the flow of matter. It is the basis for the Ainsburn family Magecraft. They are fundamentally alchemists. And also the big subject of study for the Atlas Academy. Both Jewel and Healing Magecraft are based on the theory of transferring energy from one thing to another. This is how Rin can heal Shiro, actually, because she understands the same principle. These are mostly alphabetized. So you've probably heard the term Formalcraft, right? That's a
yes.
CE. Formalcraft is a thaumaturgical theory based around formal rituals. It draws energy from the surroundings via typical means. You don't use your own personal magic energy, you use magic energy in the world, and you draw on it through magic circles, animal sacrifice, etc. It's literally referred to in one media as Magecraft for Dummies, because it's very easy to figure out and doesn't require you to have any particular power yourself, just know how to do stuff. Actually, I would say that Houdini would have low Magecraft, because he was a debunker. He actually broke a lot of mysteries. But some people insisted that he was magical. I think he actually had a falling out with Arthur Conan Doyle, of all people, because Doyle was like, nah, this dude's fucking magic. And Houdini was like, no, dude, I'm not magic. Stop saying that.
So, on a level, would basically the summon servant ritual be Formalcraft?
Kind of, because it relies on out stuff, but summoning a servant is also strongly related to a concept called spirit evocation, the system of summoning spirits or engaging in spiritual possession.
Oh, I see it in the list here.
Yeah, spoilers for a future bullet point. I'll just read it now because it came up. Theories and systems aren't mutually exclusive. Rin Tosaka, for instance, her family's style of Magecraft is based on Jewel Magecraft, but she also has access to the Gander, which we talked about, which is technically a technique that is classified as a type of rune Magecraft. So, mage families and even schools of magic might mix and match. Like the Mage Association
on my jewels.
Yeah, basically. The Mage Association, for instance, doesn't really practice too strongly any particular schools of Magecraft. They just are a place where everybody can come together and study different systems. So, the Holy Sacraments is a very big one. This is one of the most reliable and widespread foundations because it's the Holy Church's Holy Sacraments. It's tied to a very popular religion. So people like Kyrie, and lots of others. Amakusa does some of this stuff. I don't think we ever see Jean do it in the actual Apocrypha anime, but she can access Holy Sacraments as a sort of Magecraft because she's a literal fucking saint. But yeah, this is a very, very widespread ability because there's a lot of people who believe in that Jesus and stuff, y'all.
That J-man.
Kabbalah is another very common foundation. It believes that there are coded messages linked to the root found in words and numbers. So basically, their system relies on finding hidden meaning in words, numbers, etc. It has multiple branches and focuses. Numerology is a big one, which includes Evie Cabron's Golomancy, stuff like that. So there's a common origin for all that stuff, but they have different styles and schools. Necromancy is the theory related to basically using dead things as a material basis, the manipulation of corpses. We've seen good old Go Lion use this. Basically the idea is that, well, if I use a dead body, I can do magic stuff, because dead people are ritually significant. Hey, nobody says you can't make a skeleton get up after it's already dead. Mystery.
I'm still trying to figure out his shotgun that shoots fingers, though.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Specifically shoots, like, Gander fingers, too. I think that's what it said, that's his version. Hey, Lucky, you should look in Hell Not Safe for Work real quick.
I'm gonna go look in Hell Not Safe for Work real quick.
While he looks, hey, here's a theory system you've probably heard of in FGO, runes, rune magic, and rune magecraft. This uses magic symbols which function as external circuits or magic crests. That's a subject we'll actually touch on a different time. Sorry, this is very long. But basically, they automatically recreate a mystery based on their meaning. If you supply magical energy to a rune, it does a thing. It's very interesting. We already talked about spirit evocation. The Taiji and Onmyodo are certain Eastern theories of magecraft, which are based on principles like Feng Shui and the combination of yin and yang. They're explicitly noted as not super compatible with many forms of Western magecraft. But the East does have their own styles of magecraft based on how they understand it. Transmutation is kind of the general type of magecraft that Shiro Emiya does, for instance. It interferes with the properties of objects via various magical means, alteration, reinforcement, projection, etc. Another thing you've probably seen a lot in FGO under the skill name Curse is Witchcraft. This is basically the system which is based on all that shit you think is witchcrafty. Potions, curses, exorcisms, etc. There are Western and Eastern varieties of witchcraft. Mephistopheles, for instance, practices Western-style witchcraft. Tomoe, on the other hand, has an EX rank in Japanese-style witchcraft.
Curses!
Lots of curse.
Lots of curse.
And like I said, these aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. You can do a lot of different things with a lot of different stuff. So, we're just going to run through some terms you probably should know about and understand, which are universally applicable to magecraft, but are not necessarily a deep dive. So, first off, here's a fun fact. Anybody who has magic circuits can engage in something called resistance. Magic resistance. Basically, if you have magical energy, you can try and counteract it targeting you. Any mage can do this. It's just a servant thing because servants are cool. And technically, as a skill, that means it can be applied to characters that might not have it originally.
Double down on servants are bullshit.
By the way, this is funny. As a servant, Medea doesn't have any magic resistance, but it's apparently called out in the visual novel. Medea has a super high resistance to spells because she is a really, really good mage with really, really good magic circuits. So it's hard to cast spells on her. However, I don't know how well resistance works in terms of shooting a fireball at somebody. But for like sympathetic magic or magic that targets you specifically, your body, you can kind of ward it off with your magic circuits. Because Nasu is a giant nerd, breath control and movement, breathing and walking, are a big component in certain types of magecraft, basically from martial arts, breathing exercises, certain movements, stuff like that. It's why Shiro is such a natural at magic, or his specific style of magic. He has really good breath control and really good physical. He doesn't skip breath day.
Nope.
So, yeah, it's mostly for, again, Eastern stuff and Eastern characters, but it's a thing, because Nasu is also a big nerd about martial arts, I believe. At least my understanding of all his commentary about Zen archery. Something you've probably heard reference to Magecraft, said that a little funny, is elements. Basically, this is how Magecraft systems break down the fundamental building blocks of the universe, just like historical philosophy did. Usually, the Mage Association has adopted the Greek system, fire, water, air, earth, ether. You can also use the Eastern, the Chinese Wuxing system, fire, wood, metal, earth, water. There are also imaginary elements like hollow and nothingness. Hollow, by the way, is Sakura's element. It deals with the imaginary number space. Because
That's scary.
Elements aren't nerdy enough. Mages will have elemental affinities, and the concepts of elements can inform elemental magecraft. Otherwise, it just seems like mostly this is just another excuse to categorize characters and say like, oh, well, Rin Tosaka's element is all of them. She's an average one, whereas Sakura's natural element is water, and Gray has an element of earth. It seems like it's just another Japanese character test kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it can sometimes inform their abilities. What were you going to say, Lucky?
Oh, it was like all of them took a fucking elemental quiz. What element are you?
Yeah, basically. And sometimes there are some weird ones thrown in there just to be weird. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting little tidbits there that aren't necessarily nailed down. Similar with Origin. Origin in general is a pretty important concept to the Nasuverse. We've definitely explained it before. But it's also important for mages because your origin can inform your magecraft, and when you do magecraft in principle to your origin, you can exceed your own abilities or the abilities of mages of similar caliber. This is just Emiya Shiro. His element is sword, his origin is sword, because he had a sword sheath shoved in him. That means that when he does sword-related magic, he's really, really fucking good. If he does anything that's not sword-related, he's really, really awful.
Yeah, Origin's also weird because, as you know from Koro no Kokai, if you actually know your fucking origin, shit can get fucking weird.
Yes, awakening your origin is really, really weird. But mages have origins, and this can inform their magecraft.
Yes.
We also talked about, when talking about the act of spell casting, incantation is an important part of the magecraft. Basically, this is how one mentally prepares to cast the spell, using certain series of words or other ritual elements. Some spells are single action. Gondar's a good example. Rin just has to point, do Gondar. Mystic Eyes are a single action. You just have to look at somebody with your eyes and do your eye thing. Those are completely nonverbal. All you need is a single word or phrase. Otherwise, single casting words or phrases to counts that are upwards of 5 or 10 phrases, or more. Note that except for reality marbles, most incantations which are longer start working partway through, so they finish by the time the chant is finished. As far as we know, when people activate reality marbles, to actually summon Unlimited Blade Works, Shiro has to actually say the whole thing. But if somebody gets partway through a chant, like when you see Gray, for instance, start doing her chant, which is very long. I think it's a 10 count, probably. No, it could only be 5 lines. I don't know. I'd have to double check. But the moment she starts saying the magic, she starts doing her magic stuff. It just doesn't actually complete until she finishes the phrase.
Well, she holds up the cube. I forgot his name, and shit starts happening.
Yeah, the cube adds a mystic code. Actually, he's a noble phantasm, but he counts as a mystic code. And then she starts the phrase, the incantation, and then when the incantation is complete, the spell effect is complete. Servants, by the way, often have spells to reduce the speed of incantations, meaning they can cast more complex and high-energy spells faster. Medea's high-speed divine words. Because she uses the language of the gods and has really good magic circuits, Medea can do some really, really high-tier bullshit magecraft. Which, again, because it's from the Age of Gods, is basically like magic.
Man,
really, really fast.
Keep hearing about Medea. She seems like she'd be real powerful, but she just keeps jobbing in fate. I'm just like...
yeah, it's because... So, casters are actually really, really powerful. They job because a lot of servants have inherent magic resistance.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of our keystone servants, like Artoria, actually, not only does she have magic resistance from being a saber, but Artoria has really, really good magic circuits because she's got a fucking dragon core in her. Which means that's why her magic resistance is A. It's crazy high. It's also why, hey, guess what? She can be a caster.
Ta-da.
And a really, really good caster, too.
Hey.
But yeah, actually, honestly, in terms of Magecraft, Medea's really, really high tier. I think Rin even says this in the VN. Magically, there's nothing she can do to beat Medea. That's why she has to just beat her ass.
Kick!
It's because Medea did skip leg day. I'm assuming that's Kirki's fault. Kirki did not include jogging around the island in her training, which you really should have, Bird Lady. If only just because it would have been funny to make Medea Lily jog around the island. Anyway, another big thing to thaumaturgy itself is the attribute or theme. I've sometimes heard this referred to as sorcery trait. This is basically the variety of magecraft one is specialized in. This is usually based on the family or other school of magecraft you're actually learning. So, for instance, the Makiri, Mato, specialization is absorption. As gross as that is. The Tosaka specialization is in conversion magic, i.e. why they do jewel magecraft. You convert energy into objects, you convert objects into energy, vice versa, lots of other things. You see this all the time with certain families have certain styles and other weird qualities. How this works is basically related to their magic crests, but like I said, because this section is already pretty long, and we are coming up on the end, but because this section is already so long, let me actually clock how long this took to do. Yeah, it's about a solid 30 minutes on a show that's already pretty long. That's going to be a separate one. I've already put it in the hopper. It'll be in the poll next month. But basically, that's a whole nother thing that technically operates differently. Your magic crest and magic circuits inform a lot of the magic you can do, but they aren't necessarily the same thing. So we got to talk about them separately. Otherwise, we will be here forever.
Forever!
But otherwise, this is basically your basic primer on Magecraft. It's a functional magic system. It's pretty open-ended, but it has limitations based on both what the magus knows about the setting and what the audience knows about the setting. I.e., to do a Magecraft, it has to be replicating a mystery that already exists. So, if you study the setting, you understand what kind of things are possible and what kind of things are not possible. Hopefully this has all been informative. And no, it's a very reliable functional magic system. I think the thing that you can take away from this mainly is just that the magic effects are consistent. How people do magic is not consistent. I mentioned this with spellcasting and incantations. These are unique to the mage. Two guys might be from the same school of magecraft. Say you might have two alchemists who studied at the Atlas Academy. Their incantations could be completely different because it's all of the incantation part. The chant is all about what you believe personally. This is why Emiya has different Unlimited Bladeworks chants. Because what works for modern 2004 Shiro Emiya is not what works for future man Emiya.
Also might not work for past Muramasa.
Right. That's why, Muramasa has a different chant. because
I think it's
he's a
actually called
different
Unlimited
guy.
Alloy Works.
Yeah,
if I
he calls it
remember
Unlimited Alloyed Works or something. I mean, we can take some questions if you got some specific ones. This was just my general talk. We probably talked through most characters who have defined origins. That is definitely a quality that Nasu likes to fill in like guidebooks and say like, Shiro's origin is sword, but sometimes he doesn't. Like, I don't think we actually know what Rin or Sakura's origins are supposed to be. We know what their elemental affinities are like. We don't know what their origins are like, which is actually really interesting because origin says a lot about characters. Oh, Lucky retweeted that. I don't have to let Lucky know about that.
Oh, yeah, but we are opening the floor for questions.
Yeah, if you got something in mind, let me know. Well, yeah, that's the thing, Axe. Like I said, right, the source of your magic, how you do magic, very open-ended. It could be basically anything. You just have to build a system, and like a lot of other stuff with mages, you have to establish it over time. So, like, it would be very difficult for someone like right now, 2020, to establish a new level of Magecraft. And in fact, depending on which version of the setting you're in, magic's going to run out in like 10 years. Like, there's no magical energy in the world to do magic outside of computers, digital realms, right? Like in extra, magic is basically dead except for inside the moon cell. Funny how that works. But anything that you can think is an effect that you can understand, right? So long as it's something that pre-exists, you can find a way to supernaturally replicate it with magic.
Yes.
Axe is talking about like high-speed necrosis. Absolutely, yeah, that's a thing that happens. And that's totally a legend thing. Oh my god, he shriveled away to a corpse before my very eyes. Boom, mystery, you can do it.
Yep.
It's that simple. Yes, technically, if you started a cult and you had an underlying understanding of Magecraft, you could do that. I bet there's some asshole mages whose entire way of trying to improve their Magecraft and get to the root is building cults.
Probably. I think actually that might be a setting somewhere. Somewhere in the Nomiverse.
There are definitely some things that are like weird and cult-like. I think that's like Strange Fake has some elements of that. Like the guys
I think I heard
in Strange Fake have been like prepping for generations and shit like that. The thing to remember about magic, I think.
No, Kiara was just a cult all about her fucking self.
Well, Kiara started a cult about herself. She is just from a weird tantric sex cult because that is actually a weird form of Buddhism.
Yes.
I think that's Vajrayana, Thunderbolt way, where basically you can, or it's related to that because Vajrayana is really weird and it's basically like bolts of inspiration. That one we're gonna have to double back to when we talk about mystic crests or magic crests.
Yes.
Because that will actually talk about the mechanics, because that's a whole thing we have to like define. Sorry, just doing chat questions. In general, yeah, the rule I think generally, like if you're trying to make like a fan servant character or just think about magic in terms of the story, the thing to think about is, like I said, is it something that is pre-existing? Your Magecraft itself has to replicate a pre-existing phenomena, but that the system is all based on your system of belief. And just think about real life. We have tons of New Age beliefs that come up all the time. Now, as we said, because magical energy is finite, and the power of your thaumaturgical foundation is based on how many people believe in that mystery, something brand new, like I said, probably pretty weak and probably pretty bullshit. But you could still have some fun there and establish some interesting things.
It all has to start somewhere.
Heck, I think that's how Helena's Magecraft work. Like, Theosophy is a New Age shit that she invented by cannibalizing lots of other weird mystical things, which is probably the way you do it, by the way. It's probably you steal from stuff that's already established and apply it in new ways. But she's still a pretty strong magus who her Magecraft style is actually pretty weird. Like, it's, I think her Magecraft is actually described as fairly universal. She can do a lot of different things with it that a lot of people find weird. But both in the normie world and in the Magecraft world, a lot of people persecuted her because it was like, dude, what the fuck? Where's your power coming from? Explain this. Don't be weird. You're not actually talking to space aliens. Shut up. And she's like, no, I am. Mahatmas. UFOs. UFOs. And who knows? Maybe she was in contact with something.
Foreigner, Helena, win.
That'd be cool. But also, seriously, give me her Christmas skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. But yeah, that's your high-level overview of Magecraft. I hope it was informative. I actually had a lot of fun writing this down because I like functional magic systems, and like I said, the Nasuverse one, it's a little wibbly-wobbly, but it does have some hard and fast rules that you can kind of understand, and that if somebody's fucking with the rules, right, you can be like, hey, that's weird.
Like as unlike a lot of Natsuverse things, like I feel like this has a lot of like strong foundation, but then just kind of branches out into almost whatever. Because it's literally step A, personalized start. Step B, question mark. Step 3, magic.
Right. The thing I think that makes it more concrete is that the step 3 magic is something that's already predefined, right?
Yes.
Like the way it's phrased is, okay, just because the guy does something personal doesn't mean that his fireball is going to be different than everybody else's fireball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still use sulfur and bat guano, that's a D&D joke, to make fireball. But maybe that guy's fireball is pink, or maybe that guy's fireball is purple with polka dots. But yeah, it's open-ended enough that it explains a lot of different magical systems through history, but not so open-ended that it's just, like, noble phantasms are fucking open-ended, right? We've talked about that, right? Where noble phantasms are literally conceptual weapons sometimes, and they just do stuff because legends say they do stuff.
Yeah.
Magecraft, I should say, not magic. Magecraft is not that. And honestly, capital M magic isn't either, because the true magics are very specific. There's what, like 5, 6 of them? They're very clearly defined.
Yes.
We just haven't discovered them all, funnily enough. But they do concrete things. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's wibbly wobbly, but still hard and fast enough that you can get a handle on it.
Well, I think that's the best way, honestly.
And I think Nasu's written it that way so that his mages can be more limited, because he writes about magic characters a lot, so he needs them not to be all powerful. So it's actually kind of similar to how I know we're bringing up the Dresden Files because we really like it, but it's very similar to how Jim Butcher approached magic and writing the Dresden Files. He said before that he treats Harry Dresden like a plumber, basically, or like an electrician. He is working with the Force. The Force is mystical. Not everybody can understand this Force, but he just works with stuff that he understands and does things that are understood by it. And in his internal monologue, Harry talks a lot about how when he's spellcasting, he still has to bow to physics.
Mm-hmm.
If he casts a big fire spell, the heat for that fire has to come from somewhere. And he actually does some fun physics hacks with his spellcasting sometimes.
That reminds me about not Day Off, something borrowed, where he's talking about D&D and he goes on a tangent about how that's not how fire works. When
yeah, he actually goes on a rant about how fireball shouldn't end exactly at 3 squares or whatever, 30 feet, but it does for the game thing. But that's also why playing his fake D&D, he plays a barbarian, because he's like, fuck dude, I don't want to think about magic shit. Magic shit is my life. But yeah, let us move on to the wrap-up, because I'm starting to get pretty hungry, and we're going for about 3 hours. Well, yeah, thinking of fireball as like an explosion is probably better. It's a concussive, fiery wave. It is fire damage, because it's heat and stuff, but it's not necessarily an expanding sphere of fire. You cause a detonation. But anyway, let's not get into D&D spells. So, it's time to wrap up. Episode-wise, Lucky, do you have any final thoughts about stuff and things?
No, this talk about Magecraft has been very informative. If you notice, I was actually paying attention because I had a lot of commentary. Let's see here. So no, hope everyone else enjoyed that. Yeah, no. I'll probably save more of my thoughts and whatnot whenever we get Magic Circuits and Magecraft, which is now on the list. Omega's already added it.
Yeah, I added it today when I was writing my notes. So the list for future Teach Me Omega Senseis, the poll will start next month. I'll try and remember to do it soon. Lucky always forgets to do Mailbag. Omega always forgets to do the Patreon poll. That's also a joke, by the way. We don't always forget. It just does happen sometimes. One is now what are Magic Circuits and Magic Crests. We also have what are Phantasmal Species and what is a Homunculus. And I don't know. I think we've talked about like mana, prana, magical energy before. If we haven't, that might go on there in future. We've done a lot of Teach Me's, Lucky.
Have we talked about True Magic or anything of that?
I'm pretty sure we've talked about the True Magics, yes. I'd have to double check. I think we've hit those, though, because that's a pretty core concept we've mentioned before. Also, yes, I have totally starred that explosion gif.
Perseus asking, would being isekai to be a thing in Nonsoverse on Mysterious Works? I don't know. Like, you might be able to, like, I mean, fucking Zeltrids can look at parallel
you
worlds.
can technically slide. You can appear in different timelines. I don't think you could appear in fictional universes, per se.
Yeah.
Because they're still fictional. But you could end up in alternate timelines that are like it.
Like, honestly, if you want to think about it, FGO is a fucking isekai title. You just go back home constantly.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting concepts. those are the 3 that are currently in the poll. To vote in the poll, you need to be a silver 5 and up patron. I post the poll every month. Patrons 5 and up and higher can vote, and then I usually let it run for a couple of weeks, and then we do the stuff in there somewhere.
Mhm.
Which brings up to a good point. The month's getting kind of a close. It's a good time to, well, maybe wait a few days by the time this comes out so you don't get double charged. But, we have a Patreon. You can get access to audio episodes early. You can get access to the polls at higher levels, access to video releases early. You can listen to the show live. You can get live shoutouts, all that kind of stuff. We do also offer annual memberships now, so you can purchase your Patreon backing a year in advance at a 10% discount, too. So if you've got... Hold on, let me think here. So it's 5 times 12 normally, which would be 60, and then times 0.9, so about 54. So if you have about $55 US, you could buy a whole year of $5 membership right now, and lock yourself in for a year. So we offer annual memberships if you prefer to pay that way annually, like do lump sums more infrequently, or just it's the kind of thing you can get yourself as a treat, like you've got a little bit of cash now. It's only about $11 to buy a whole year of our basic level. So check it out. It's cool. It's great. And I know some people prefer that. So, yeah. We'd also have our memberships. We're still talking about that. Lucky's talking about new emotes he's made, which will eventually make their way to YouTube as we get more members, so consider that. We also talked about the power level Orca tee. That's in our Teespring. That link's in the description to get to our merch page. It's also on our channel page. So, since the month's ending, it's as good as time as any to do a little shilly do. But you can get t-shirts and stuff, including our brand new t-shirt design. Please simp responsibly. Nobody's bought it yet, but I find it hilarious. Please buy it. You can also get Tyranny Rabbit. He exists on a shirt. And also on a onesie for your child. For the love of God, if you buy a child's onesie of Tyranny Rabbit, please take a picture of it with the child. I want to. I want to see it.
Let me redo Tyranny Rabbit because I need to redo the ears and maybe the body a little bit.
That's okay. We can have multi-gen designs.
See, now that Lucky is slowly actually working more on art, it's becoming easier for him. Like, all right, time to do some art. I just can't do complex art yet. Ugh. One day I will draw all the fucking anime titties.
He'll get there. He's got a dream.
I got a dream.
But yeah, so that's this week's show. Next week, let's see, what'll be the record of the day? I think that's the 4th. Yeah, so Summer 5 will not be over, in JP. We might know what event is coming next, or we might not, because it's probably going to be a filler week. I know they do have plans for more stuff later this year, but I'm assuming probably another filler week.
They're probably going to be going into a rerun.
Could go into a rerun. I don't know if we got any reruns lying around, but that would be a good time. We just went into a rerun after summer, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we will also give our thoughts on the Zero rerun. I think I'm actually going to outright watch the story for that because I love the Zero XL so much. Usually I skip and then watch back in the archive, but I might actually literally do this one as it comes because, like I said, I like it so much.
If they do the Christmas rerun at the end of summer, I'm going to die.
That would be hilarious. That would be so good. But it's the perfect time for it if they're not doing anything else. Fucking do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have some more of that content. We'll have whatever our new stuff is for the month. And I'm sure we'll have other news and things coming out. At the very least, we'll have your mailbag. And I'm sure we'll have people who yell at us about Summer Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't hold in their snappy comments.
Yeah.
That's okay. Sometimes we can't hold in our snappy comments.
Yeah, remember, if we don't got a lot going on during the week, we will extend the mailbag time so we can get more.
Yeah, well, how did Robin say it? It was either Power Hour or Unlimited Mail Works, Unlimited Bag Works. Yeah, Unlimited Bag Works. So that's when there's nothing to do, we'll uncap and we'll do the Unlimited Bag Works. But for shows like this, which, gosh, like I said, that's another basically a whole hour 20, hour and a half. I'll probably closer to an hour with editing. I'll be fair to myself. But the whole back hour was that servant discussion and the Teach Me segment. Mm-hmm. So this is a big, long, chunky episode, big chunky, without unlimited mailbag. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you're gonna be tactical about it, not that we want to discourage anybody from talking, giving your mailbag, but if you want to be tactical about it, wait for a slow news week. Because I can guarantee if you think we got a slow news week coming, you can slip that in, and we'll probably answer all your mailbags. It's a real big brain thing. But keep sending us your mailbag. Send us your comments. Check out that unboxing video I did. Actually, Lucky, you talked about it in the pregame, didn't you? You didn't actually talk about the swimsuit thing on mic?
No.
Well, we should mention that because you were talking about you're not sure how to do the video.
Yeah.
We could throw that out to the audience.
Yeah, like, so Lucky's still on the script section of the thing because Lucky realizes that, well, I'm okay with the written word. I usually, like, I have this problem. I constantly switch back between my styles. I'm like, that's not good. I need to actually, like, double down on whether I want to be, classy about this or just be, how did I describe it in the pregame?
Cheesy, I believe is the
cheesy.
phrase
Yeah, cheesy. Classy or cheesy. The problem with my script writing so far is I'm realizing that I'm doing both, and I don't like that because if I'm ping ponging between moods like mid video, I think that's gonna throw some people off. It throws
Yeah, that
me
can
off.
take the audience out of it.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I need to double down on one particular side. Do I gotta do this like in a semi-serious fashion or just fucking ham it up? Because either way, I find either way could be entertaining. And if I take seriously a joke subject, that's funny in the ironic way. But if I do it in a cheesy way, that's just funny in the it's just straight funny.
Yeah, you're playing it straight. It's just funny.
Yeah, I'm playing it straight. Yeah. So, but if I try to ping bang both of them, well, as I said, like, that's I think the term's entropy, where you slowly lose energy.
Yeah.
Or something like, yeah. Yeah, it'll infantry, because I'm trying to do, it's like I can't get two birds with one stone. So I need to decide on, do I do it classy or do I do it cheesy? And I can't, unfortunately, this is where Lucky's, flaw of being indecisive is biting him. I'm just like,
Yeah, so we already talked about this in the pre-show for our patrons and stuff who can listen, but I already assumed and Lucky confirmed he would not reveal the list yet. That's the point of the video.
Nope.
This is much like why with my unboxing video, why I won't tell you what I pulled in specifics. I want you to go watch it. Lucky wants you to watch it. I will tell you, people,
though, I'm only going up to Summer 3. Heck.
Yeah, you're doing one that leaves room for sequels, but also you're only doing it based on the content that's out in NA right now.
Yes.
But if you have preference on which you would like, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Because I think I said this before. It is actually a conundrum because some people do like Classy Lucky, but also some people might like just an unabashed top 10 swimsuits video.
Yeah. If like you want Lucky to talk about like actual swimsuit design and how it sits on the servant and the effort went into designing it, yeah, that's Classy Lucky. If you want Lucky to just talk about tits and ass, that's Cheesy Lucky.
So yeah, let us know what you would prefer. And hey, guess what? If you lie and you tell Lucky something that you don't prefer and you don't watch it, we'll know. We know everything. YouTube analytics. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's all of our newses and newthith. I think that's all the stuff. So let's go ahead and wind down. Like I said, I'm hungry. My stomach's going to start growling. And also, I need to go kill more Mongols. By the way, here's a very solid question. Is Jin Sakai an assassin or a saber? Or an archer? Because he's also good at that. Who knows? Clearly he is a new class, ghost class.
I say he's an assassin.
You definitely do a lot of that stuff, but it is kind of the funny thing about talking about servant classes is you do a lot of different things. You throw shit, you shoot shit, you ride a horse. The horse is cool. You stab and or slash a lot of people.
Well, yeah, usually if you get into too much combat, you end up fucking dead. One-on-one engagements are best.
Or, like, 3-on-1 if you're doing a showdown, but, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I mean,
yes.
Technically, I would still say showdowns are 1-on-1 because they only rush you one at a time.
It's true. They do mook chivalry. For more Ghost of Tsushima thoughts, tune into our show What's Up this week, because Omega's finally playing it. Put quite a few hours into it. I'm still only at Act 1, but I put a lot of hours in. It's definitely that sort of game, where I will, like, be like, yes, the quest to do this, or this legendary tale. Wait, hold on, what's this question mark on the map? Hold on. Is that a shrine? I'm gonna climb the shrine. But yeah, we'll talk about that one more on What's Up, which will be recorded tomorrow. You'll see it released shortly after this episode comes out, somewhere in there. And we'll come back to you with more Let's Talk FGO next week. So I think it's time to do the outro. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust my headphones.
Okay.
Okay. So, with the episode concluded, that means that if you like this episode and you're watching it on YouTube, be sure to like it. Actually hit that like button. Or dislike it, I don't care. If you have any comments on the questions we have asked you, the audience directly, not even the audience, you specific, you listening, sir or madam, it's hard to tell, I can't see you very well through the internet, but I know you're there, you specifically, I'm pointing right at you. You can't see me, I'm pointing. Answer our questions in the comments below. You can also hit us up on our Discord, that link is, as always, in the video description and on our channel page. Also, you will find the join button below the video or in our description as well. And of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. so you can always get our latest videos, and consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. Oh shoot, I don't think I actually mentioned this, but I am planning on doing, I've been talking about it for a while, I'm planning on doing a Wanted revamp on Iskandar, because it's been a couple years, and Wanted has improved, and also Iskandar has improved. So I want to do a new video. They're going to rush me a little bit on that. It's been a while since they got me, but they're going to rush me a little bit on that. But who knows when the heck that would be posted, so it might be posted at like a midnight. Who knows? Depends on when I find the time to make it. But yeah, so that's a good reason to ring that bell and turn on notifications so you know when we post a new video or when we stream. We stream pretty regularly, but sometimes we start a little early, sometimes we start a little late. Sometimes stuff happens and we have to start late. Stuff. And of course, the final shill move. Like I said earlier, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to this episode in audio format, downloadable, for as little as $1 a month. And it really helps us out. You can do annual memberships now, and you can get lots of other goodies at higher levels. So yeah, fun stuff. All right, I think that's the endo. Oh wait, I got the perfect one for this, Lucky.
Oh.
Pancake Bomb!